Hello and welcome to episode 96 of the MisanthroPod. No. I'm Snipe, and as always, I'm joined by other Snipe.
Hi? It's me! Wait a minute.
And Web. Say hello.
Hello, I guess.
Where's Drummer Matt?
No, I'm Snipe Prime.
Snipe Prime?
The betterer of the intro makers.
Oh, okay. I thought that just meant that you don't pay your workers properly.
You win the podcast, you can take over again.
Okay. Hello and welcome to episode 96 of the MisanthroPod. I'm Snipe, the real one this time, and as always, I'm joined by Wib. Say hello.
Hello.
And as always, I'm unfortunately joined by the identity thief, Drummer Matt.
Hello.
Say sorry.
Hello.
Damn it. How are you lovely gentlemen today, apart from just robbing me of my own identity?
We're doing the weird thing that we've not done in a long time, where we're actually all in the same room recording this.
Oh, he just poked me.
Yes, we've just been poked by Matt.
It's very weird.
It's been.
He doesn't use his fingers.
Oh.
He uses his butt cheeks. They're like little pyramids.
What the fuck are you talking about?
His arse.
What the fuck are you talking about?
As poking implements.
Yeah.
My very long and flexible butt cheeks.
Yeah, they're prehensile.
This was a mistake. The last time we did one of these was a live episode, I believe. Episode 50. Wow. It's been a long while.
Oh, yeah. Well, we're on 96 now. We're going to have to, think of something fancy to do for the 100th episode, which is probably just going to be a live podcast again.
Yeah.
But this time, Drummer Matt's naked.
I'm not sure I signed up to that.
Well, maybe you shouldn't, because he might get banned off Twitch.
Yeah, that's the only reason why I shouldn't.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I'll put duct tape over your titties, over your nip-nips.
No, because I've got male tits, so it's fine.
No.
Not on Twitch.
Not on Twitch, no.
Oh.
No.
And to be fair...
I'll give you a Dante, duct tape strip.
To be fair, no one said that we had to stream on Twitch. There are plenty of places on the internet where you can stream and get titty out.
Yeah, episode 100 live on Chatterbait.
Yeah.
Sure.
Hi, I'm Snipe, and we're all holding our genitals.
Okay, it's getting weird.
Yep, it's getting weird.
I'm trying to think of a fat pun, with MisanthroPod.
I don't believe there is one.
There should be email in your sexy MisanthroPod puns.
Misanthropoke?
Misanthronob.
Is that really a pun, or is that just inserting the word knob into the word?
Inserting knobs.
Okay, I am going to talk about something that we're supposed to be talking about.
Yeah,
Okay.
good.
Instead of whatever we're doing right now.
Talk about knobs.
I think I'm not sure exactly when it will be related to when this comes out, because I don't know when this is coming out. But we did a video about the new Warhammer Bandai Chibi models that came out.
Mm-hmm.
The video did way better than I would have thought, and is currently got more views than multiple codex compliance, which is a little depressing, but I try not to think about it.
It's a little depressing, but not entirely unexpected, because, the more off-the-cuff thing you do will always get more attention than the thing you sit down and work out for months.
Oh yeah, well the first video that we had that got over 100,000 views was the Fallout 40k mod that we did we did that video in an afternoon. Every part of it just burned through it, and then it just did really well, and it's I'm glad that did better than the scripted ones that took a month to put together.
It's fine.
This is fine.
That's it's nature of the beast. It's just what happens. It's fine. It means more eyes on the channel. It's all good. But yeah, these Bandai Chibis. Loads of people were asking questions in the comments, and I thought this would be a simple place to answer a couple of them, and also offer a minor correction that we did pin a comment saying this in as the top comment. But there is no
Did
rare...
you well technically yourself?
No.
No. No, basically we said that from what we'd heard, that 2 of the things were rarer than the others. But it turns out they're all of equal rarity.
Okay.
So it's just that the ones we'd seen, people had mostly got. The ones that we got, they had mostly got those, and not as many people had got the Grey Knights and the Eviscer Assassin. But they are all equally kind of rare.
Distributed?
Yeah, equally distributed.
Yeah.
It's like there's 20 in a box, and there's 4 of each, and there's 5 designs. So that's just how they work. So we were technically wrong there. And by technically wrong, I mean actually.
It's almost as if we did that like completely off the cuff or something.
Almost as if.
I mean, who knows?
It's fine. No one's getting weird about it. It's fine. But a few people had said about the paint being bad, and
it's not.
it's not.
No. Yeah, they look great, to be honest.
Some of the paint is a bit thick in places, but
it's very obviously machine painted. It's not hand painted at a workstation with Citadel paints for 4 hours.
I think some people are definitely comparing them to a model that you've painted, as opposed to...
Yeah, stop comparing shit to things I've painted.
But on that, so like, and they're £3. So like, if you buy these kind of things that are like little blind bag things, this is about the standard level of paint, and they're relatively cheap. So
I honestly, like, the little Star Wars figurines, like, the ones that cost like 15 quid, they are worse painted than these little chibis.
Star Wars figures, some of those are stupidly overpriced and not very well made.
Some of them.
No, they're all good ones. You get the Black Series stuff, that's really nice.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, the Kylo Ren kind of looks like a, night janitor. I mean, nothing wrong with
Adam
Night
Driver
Janitor.
does not translate to models very well.
Okay, we are gonna fucking fall out.
No, some people just don't translate into action figures very well. Adam Driver looks depressed in every action figure of him I've ever seen.
Yeah, because he probably is. I mean, he's Kylo Ren, and Kylo Ren is very sad.
Yeah.
See, he's either sad or grumpy. Actually, he looks sad on my mug as well.
Yeah,
see what I mean? Looks quite sad.
And then that doesn't look like him in any possible way, but...
Yeah, because they probably photoshopped out the handsomeness.
Okay, we're going to move on from talking about Adam Driver's inherently miserable face.
Oh, wow. That's horrible.
He is a good-looking gentleman. Just in action figures with a neutral face, it makes him look a little depressed, in my experience, is the point. But some people are asking about repainting them. Now, I have repainted one. I've heard the paint that's on them already is nigh impossible to get off, presumably because of the type of paint used and that it's off vinyl.
Yeah.
Because they're not plastic, they are made of vinyl. Because they're quite bendy and stuff.
I mean, a lot of figures like this are made of vinyl.
Yeah.
So it makes sense.
And so I've heard the paint's really hard to get off, so I just didn't even bother. I just gave it a base coat of... is it Chaos Black or Abaddon Black? I can never remember.
I think it's Abaddon Black now. I don't know.
Whatever the GW Black spray is.
The paint pot is Abaddon Black, and I think the undercoat is Chaos Black.
Yeah, I can never... That's one of those details that I can just never remember.
I just go in and go, paint! I'm like a paint cryptid. I kind of roll in like a tumbleweed with just made of anger and caffeine, and then they just kind of throw paints at me until I go away.
That's very accurate, yes. But yeah, I just gave it a straight coat of primer and then painted directly on top of it. And you do lose a bit of detail, especially on, like, because I painted the Skitari, or Skitarius, as people like to unbearably. Skitarius is the singular form.
Is it like... No, it should be Skitarian.
I don't know, it's just how Latin works.
I'm just being a twat.
Okay.
Yeah. Shock horror.
Let's not dwell on this. But yeah, I just base coated it and paint on top of it. On things like the Skitari's gun, because the metal paint is quite thick, you do lose a lot of detail painting over that, so it's a bit of a pain in the arse. But you can entirely repaint them. It's not a big deal. Paint holds fine if it's primed. So yeah, you can totally do that.
I honestly, on your repainted Skitari, I didn't notice the lack of detail. I just liked how you insinuated a lot of shape, like you do on, say, like old Rogue Trader models that are a bit wonky.
I have been given a good test run at doing this kind of thing by painting Rogue Trader models, which often are low on detail in a sorry state in the modern day, and you have to insinuate detail rather than paint it. So, but yeah, they are decent little things.
Yeah, I like them. They're quite cute.
But I suppose we should probably move on from just talking about the cheebs. So, Snipe, what
have I got?
Pray
in my mouth?
tell.
I honestly, Drummer Matt gave it me.
I was going to ask what you're up to, but now
Drop it.
Now I'm very concerned about what you have in your mouth.
I mean, I think a lot of people are a little bit worried about what comes out my mouth. Apart from the latest episode, I watched the first couple of episodes of Picard.
Ooh, nice.
Which are really good. And they made me feel all warm and fuzzy, and it was just so nice. And it was weird to hear swearing. And I'm waiting for the fuck off, Logan. Because in Logan, there's just the F-bombs dropped everywhere, and Professor X does tell Logan to fuck off at one point, and it's just so weird hearing that from Patrick Stewart. So I'm waiting for Picard to just be like, oh, fuck a duck, or however the old proper English people swear.
He's French.
It's Patrick Stewart. I hate this. Oh yes, I'm on the vineyard. Also, oh my god, I love number one so much.
Number one is number one.
Number one is so good.
And her name's fallen out my head. Laris.
The Irish.
The Irish Romulan.
She's amazing.
And I'm glad that because the first F-bombs in Star Trek were dropped in Discovery.
This is so fucking awesome.
Yeah, it was basically basically cool science thing. This is so fucking cool, and it's like, yeah,
yeah,
that's
it is
actually
fucking cool.
And someone going science is fucking cool is actually probably the most Star Trek way to do an F-bomb.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that now Picard is following in its footsteps and having someone in an Irish accent go cheeky fuckers as the first F-bomb dropped in that series.
Those Romulans are rad.
I didn't think Irish Romulans was something that I needed in my life, but apparently it is.
They're amazing, and I love them so much. And I really like the design of the uniforms as well. And I'm just waiting for the cameos, because minor spoilers. You see Brent Spiner show up.
It's like the first minutes of episode 1.
But it's and it's just that's really nice. Although you can tell they've had to CGI out his oldness.
Oh, have you seen the pre-CGI stuff?
No.
Yeah.
I did see a picture of them Patrick Stewart and Brent Spiner on set underneath umbrellas just having a nice cold drink, and it was just wow. I guess the 80s were a fucking long time ago, actually.
Oh yeah.
Oh wow, okay.
Brent Spiner looks very different these days.
I've heard he does a perfect Patrick Stewart impersonation.
There's a load of YouTube videos online of the cast impersonating each other all the time.
You see, that makes me so happy.
I've seen also individual cast members gate crashing other members' Q&A sessions to ask them inane questions.
I love that so much, because that's literally what I would do if if Alpha Boost ever had a panel at say Warhammer Fest or something. I'd show up and just be like, "Excuse me, when will we see the Custodes' dicks?" And then get escorted out while he's like, "Actually, I know her, but yeah, keep escorting her out.
Yeah.
She's horrible. Get out of here."
But yeah, are we all enjoying Picard so far?
I am. It's honestly, it's so good. I do believe it really gets the old kind of. I don't know. I think nostalgia's making me feel super fuzzy about it. But I mean, they're all still active actors, so it's not like an Arnie thing where he hasn't acted for 20 years and he comes back in and it's just how have you got worse?
Oh, you mean when he's in the Expendables? And you're like, wow, you haven't acted much, have you?
Yippee-ki-yay! And you're like, oh my god, Arnie, no. It's I can't believe you're being out-acted by fucking Stallone. That is I mean, to be fair, I think the only decent actor of all those, action stars was Bruce Willis. He was the only one who could actually act.
I think
I'm not saying the other ones were bad.
There's a few that, especially over time, got better. But I think Bruce Willis was one of the better ones. Which is funny, because the one thing he can't act at is acting interested in any interview ever.
Yeah. The thing is, I like him in movies, but God, is he a prick.
he does not seem like a particularly pleasant person to be around from what I've seen. I may be wrong, you know.
Yeah, who knows? But yeah, it was. It's just nice to see them all back together, and I do think the biggest problem they have is the whole capitalism doesn't really exist for humans, but they're still kind of driving some of the plot with as if capitalism is just completely there, and it's not this big like socialist utopia.
Yeah, I've talked about this.
Which, I mean, I understand. It is a difficult thing to do.
Well, I was saying, I was talking to Matt earlier, and I mentioned it, I talked about it online, when I think it was episode 3 came out. And I was saying that there, you know, when you see things to do with income or inequality in the Federation, and particularly on Earth, because, so... If you're not into Star Trek, the general idea is that the Federation is a sort of post-scarcity, vaguely socialist utopia. Is the sort of idea. There's no money.
There's no money. They're not massively interested in material possessions. I mean, they still like certain things, but it's not like ceaseless pursuit of profit.
It's basically post-capitalist society. And when you see inequality in it, it's usually off Earth. It's usually in like little corners of it, or it's to do with the civilization that is not like part of the post-capitalist kind of thing.
Or the Ferengi.
Like the Ferengi.
Yeah.
But I think
God, you humans are disgusting.
But I think there is an interesting thing about how when those things come up, and especially having a character who is specifically on Earth that is shown to have, it highlights inequality. There's kind of two ways to take it. There's the one way that's clever and the one way that's interesting. The clever way is that it might be the writers pointing out that even in a society in which inequality is supposedly abolished and scarcity of resources is not a thing, even then inequality can still rise up, and it doesn't matter how many systemic things that you put into place that prevent that, people can still slip through the cracks, and it takes constant vigilance to maintain a utopia. And if someone is basically been turned away from that society, that can still happen to them. I'm not entirely sure that was the thing, because I think what might actually have happened is the interesting thing, which is that when people write sci-fi or anything, and they write for a civilization that is so different to their own, they can't help but transpose modern-day problems onto this other society. So putting a thing of inequality onto a supposedly in practice egalitarian society doesn't quite match. But it's just the people writing it going, well, this is the society I know, and I'm putting those problems
I'm aware of.
Yeah. And so this will work in this, not really thinking, we're not even really acknowledging it, because imagining a society like the one the Federation has is incredibly difficult, and it's evident by how the economics of the Federation work has always been a bit hazy in Star Trek, and writers have handled it better and worse at different times. And I think it's a very interesting kind of thing, and I don't know the writers. I've not seen anyone talk about it, so I don't know which one is the true thing. I suspect it's probably the latter one.
Yeah, I mean, like, the only way you could get around that is just being intentionally vague. Because
that's what they've always done.
Yeah,
just
and
not
honestly,
talk about
I think that's the best idea, because, like, there's a good few writers out there that tend to over-explain things. Like, if you've ever seen an unnecessary sequel, it's pointlessly over-explaining things 90% of the time. And it's just frustrating, and it just creates more plot holes. It's like, as a rule of thumb, don't explain everything, because then people can figure out their own way of it working. It's a fun get out of jail free card.
It also
for
means
writers.
if you're hyper specific about everything, it becomes easier to be wrong.
Very much so.
It's like why I think it was a good idea to remove the old Star Wars EU when Disney took over, because whatever they did with the new stuff, they'd be constantly
contradicting.
They couldn't make up anything new, because like, oh, well, we're going to have a character this, and someone go, well, lightsabers don't work like that because this EU book says they work like this, and they go, oh, fuck, okay. Well, we're going to have them go to this kind of planet, and they go, oh, those planets don't exist in that quadrant because these books say that they only exist there, and it'd be incessant with that. Yeah. So I understand.
It'd be basically like reading YouTube comments.
Yeah.
But the thing is, half of them would be incredibly wrong.
Oh yeah, most of them are wrong.
And then the other half would be actually referencing something else, like, Star Trek instead.
But yeah, I think that's so. It's like can be sensible to do that. But yeah, I just find the whole subject interesting, and like, I think it came across more of like they're doing things for the reasons of this is thematically what we want to do, even if it doesn't 100% fit. So
I mean,
whatever.
even with that, I still enjoy it.
Yeah, I enjoy it.
And vague spoilers of, I'm not going to go super into it, but like seeing like a Borg cube like that is so cool. That is really cool.
Yeah,
it's like,
because
ooh.
you've only seen up to episode 2, haven't you, Matt?
Yes.
Oh shit! Did I spoil it for you?
No, I've seen that.
Okay.
The cube's at the end of episode 2. Actually, no, it's the end
No,
of
it's the
episode 1.
end of episode 1, and then a lot of episode 2 is on it. So,
So minor spoilers if you haven't seen that, but it is interesting to see a thing that has reoccurred in like every version of like post Nemesis Trek that has been previously, that happening again, which is Romulans fucking with Borg tech. It's just one of those weird things that just always comes up in books, in Star Trek Online, in comics and things. It's always been that, like Romulans screwing with Borg
which
tech.
I'm sure will end pleasantly for
That's
everyone.
probably not even a problem.
I think
actually,
every version of it ends badly.
nah.
So
well,
I'm
then
sure
it's like more chance that it's going to succeed this time. Obviously, what's gamblers' odds? Fuck off.
Obvious. It's obvious.
Obvious, yeah.
Um,
But yeah, that's what I've been watching.
which we've all been watching.
We've all been watching that. I have done more stuff, but mental health's been a bit shitty. So I've just been kind of like going back and playing things like Sims 4 and whatnot. Like they're just like chilling out. Like I got the Parenthood expansion because that was on sale, and it basically means you can turn your kids into sociopaths. Yeah, they have like skill bars now for like their personality. So like your kids, like, you try and teach them to be responsible, and once that fills up, then when they grow up into adulthood, they get the responsible trait, which means that they're better or worse at certain things. They can also be incredibly irresponsible. If it goes all the way back and you never get them to do their homework or the dishes or like take like responsibility for their actions and like, things like that. And you get like empathy and emotional control, so you get them like a journal so they can like write down their negative emotions or just document the day. And it's just like, okay, and it's like plus manners, plus responsibility, or like minus and stuff. It's really interesting, and it's actually a little tiring, and it's almost like, what, raising kids is apparently effort? Fuck that, dude. Really?
I've heard something to that effect. It's a bit of a
It's a
chore.
tad time consuming, I've heard. Yeah. But yeah, apart from that, I've been playing The Evil Within 2. Which is a third-person horror game.
Can I quickly mention my incredibly serious and legitimate critique of the game?
Go on.
So the font that's used for the name of it has a stylized T that doesn't have the. So you know how a T
it's
is
half
like
a T.
Like the T, there's like a line at the top and then a line going down. Half of the line at the top is missing, like for
So
stylized
it's like a very
purposes.
straight
Right.
7.
So it looks more like a 7 or a 1. Now, because that's the one stylized letter in that, on the little logo they use on Steam to show what game it is, they just use the T on it,
Right.
which means it looks like a 1.
Right.
So when you boot
Evil
up the
Within 2.
when you boot up the Evil Within 2, it has a logo that looks like a 1.
Well, I mean,
0 out of 10.
0 out of
Shit
10.
Quite
game.
annoying.
We'll revoke license. We'll burn my fucking hard drive.
Okay, carry on. That's my very serious
am I allowed to
complaint.
talk about the game now?
No.
Oh, well, I'm fucking gonna.
Okay.
Okay, so, Evil Within 1 was shit.
A nuanced take. I
Nuanced
appreciate it.
take, yeah. Welcome to my incredibly detailed critique. It were a bit wank. It was like, I liked the idea of it. It was kind of like heralded as the return to survival horror because it was made by the same guy that made Resident Evil. So hopes were really high, and it was just a bit wank. It's just a lot of brain-bending kind of stuff happens. I'm not going to spoil anything, but I mean, it did look good, and it had some very interesting kind of like set design, so like very twisted dreamscapey kind of like weird looking environments you could run around.
I remember a bit where your character, Sebastian, isn't it?
Sebastian Castellanos.
Yeah. Where he's like falling and then the world changes, like he's falling down a pit and the world kind of tilts horizontally, so he's kind of then being thrown down a hallway, so he lands like on the floor of the hall.
It's really
to lose the speed of what he's doing. It's like little touches like that. I remember seeing that and going, "That's a really cool thing."
There were some amazingly cool like environment twisting kind of things, and those are present within the Evil Within 2 so far as well. I played like a few hours of it.
Do you have to have played the first one to appreciate or get into the second one?
Well, I've just watched a Let's Play of it, which was ultimately less painful in every single way because. Oh, it's not good.
The first one was the one with the really aggressive letterboxing when it first came out, wasn't it?
That everyone made fun of ruthlessly, and then there was an update come out to just turn it off. Because it was literally like... Imagine if you, like, literally were looking through a letterbox and there was just a dog peeing in your eyes. That's basically how the letterboxing was. And, like, honestly, like...
It's an image. It's an image you're really concocting here, dear.
Thank you. Yes, I like to think. I like to paint a landscape with my words and dog pee.
A landscape full of piss.
Yeah.
Planet piss, you could say.
Yeah, I don't want to get bigger than Death Clock.
Yeah.
That's my biggest fear. Not everyone will get that, but the right people will. Yeah. But yeah, like, I found the first one looked just. There's loads of those. There's always that segment in a video game. The Evil Within 1 was that segment, but it was a game.
The game.
Yeah.
The game, yeah. There was, like, a few bits in it. Like, visually, it was very cool. Like, you got the weird nurse and, like, the British Airways music.
Yes.
Do, 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 do. And I'm just sitting there going, I'm just thinking British Airways are just blasting me with adverts.
Okay, I think context is required here. So there is a reoccurring piece of classical music in The Evil Within 1, and that piece of classical music was used for adverts for British Airways, I believe in the early 2000s.
Very early 2000s.
So whenever a British person who was, around at that time,
hello,
or lived in the country, and, at that time, whenever they'll hear that piece of music, they are going to think of British Airways and not The Evil Within. Yeah. So it kind of pulls you out of the game every time you hear it.
Yeah, and I was just like, okay. I mean, a nice nod to Resident Evil would have been Moonlight Sonata.
I mean, I don't think it's a bad choice of music. It's just a bad choice of music.
No, I think it is, because every time I hear it, I think of a bunch of weird-looking women in red stewardess outfits.
Yeah, but
just like wandering around pretending like flying is somehow this big ethereal, like, spiritual experience.
I don't think it's a fault of the game.
Yep.
That one particular country happened to use the same piece of music
plot
for
hole.
An advert.
Absolute plot
and
hole.
I think it is wildly unfair to suggest that it is a bad choice
0
of music
out of
for
10.
that reason.
Terrible. Absolutely awful.
Okay.
Is that the only reason you don't like the game?
No!
No, it's
That's like the
that.
second reason I don't. No, it's because it's like, again, it's all those sections. Like, there's a part where you and, like, an AI have to save an AI who's in, like, this fucking cube of glass in the middle of the room from slowly filling up with water. And it's a way of survival. And it's like, oh.
With survival horror controls.
Yeah, and it takes 3 times as long as it should. And you're just like, okay. Yeah. But no, this one's like, I think the first one was a good, like, draft. And I think, like, Evil Within 2, it's like, it feels like they've tightened up a lot more. And it's like, the initial, like, the first few hours are very kind of like, just like any game. They're a bit tutorial-y. You don't have a weapon, which honestly is fucking scary. Especially when there's like, you go into this place and you watch this guy just gut someone else while you're hiding behind a sofa. And you're like, fucking hell. And you knock over a painting and the guy's like, what was that? And you're like, oh no. You gotta like shimmy around the sofa so he doesn't spot you. And like, little moments like that. But it's again very visually interesting and like, very mindfucky, like when you first go into STEM, which is the basically you put yourself in like a sensory deprivation tank, and then it kind of basically puts your mind into this construct, like this pre-prepared, like it's kind of like Matrixy, I guess.
Okay.
But a bit weird, and it's like a much more horror element and stuff like that. and like you go into it and you start like you fall away like from the tank, and like the entire world just kind of keeps getting smaller, and then your character's falling, and then suddenly he stops and he's like in this big dark area, and it's like, oh, okay, then there's like lots of stuff kind of falling into place, or like you'll go through a corridor and you'll get to the end of the corridor and there'll be like there's like a picture of a door and you can't go anywhere, so you turn around and then the corridor's gone, but the door is there, and you open it up and it's like a completely different hallway, and you're like, oh, it's just kind of like brain fuckery kind of stuff. It is fun, and like yeah, like a lot, like it's kind of following Sebastian about how, like, you know, his wife and kid died in like a fire in his house, and you kind of start off the game playing as creepy Sebastian because he doesn't have a beard. And I don't like the coding of this man is haunted and doesn't have his life together. Look, he grew a beard. It's like, oh.
I was talking about that the other day, and I was like, I find it, as someone who has a beard, I find it it's messed up how a lot of presentations of people with beards in media is that that's them having let themselves go because they don't have their life in order and they're like mentally anguished and stuff, and I go, and I'm aware that I have been diagnosed with depression and I don't have my life together, but those are two separate things that are unrelated. I just happen to like beards.
You just like the way you look with a beard. And for once, I would like to see someone do the opposite, where it's like, I had it all, and it's just like a fucking, like, he just doesn't wash his hair, and he's got a fucking horrible beard. Then he's down and out, and he's just clean-shaven and perfect. It's like, while I was having my eyebrows threaded, I couldn't help but think. You know, that kind of thing. It's just, it's a tired trope.
Yeah, I get why the coding is as such.
I get why the coding is as such, but it's a bit annoying. So yeah, and he's like, oh, I'm sad with family death pain, oh no.
Yeah, that's the worst pain.
Oh, family death pain is not good. And then, like, Kidman shows up, who, I'm not going to spoil it, but she was in the first one, she was a bit of a jerk. And it's like, oh, by the way, your daughter's alive, and he's all like, fuck, and you've brought agents from the Matrix. There's literally just two men in black suits with, like, black sunglasses on.
Good.
And you're like, okay, that's fine. And, like, you go through it, you go to STEM, and it's tutorializing it, and it's just like showing you all these different areas, and you're looking for the core of STEM, which is apparently his daughter, and, you know, so you can extract her, because if you just unplug it, especially, like, without the core in, it will kill anyone attached to it. It basically cause brain death.
Right. Okay.
Whereas if the core is active and alert and keeping a hand on anything, you can just unplug people and it's fine. But because the core is inactive, they don't really have contact within the main construct. And if they unplug all these agents they've sent in, it'll just kill them, basically. And, like, I'm up to, like, there's a guy who keeps, like, taking photos of people as he kills them. So the first one you see is, like, a guy who's kind of, like, stuck in this time warp where he's kind of, like, he's being thrown back in slow motion with the back of his head just crumpling out and exploding. And then he kind of gets halfway down and then it just resets and keeps playing, and it's got, like, a camera in front of him. You're like, what the fuck? And it's like, yeah, you don't know what that is. And then you see the murderer just gut some guy and take a photo the moment that happens, and it keeps them kind of trapped in this loop. And it's like, that's spooky, especially because, like, the areas around there have all got, like, really weird photo frames just everywhere of, like, close-ups of pictures, like, of people's eyes and stuff. Yeah. Just stereotypical.
Eyes are always creepy, right?
They are creepy, yeah. Especially close-up.
Mm.
Like,
you know the worst part?
There's two of them.
Every time you see an eye, you're seeing them using your eyes.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just going to poke out my own eyes then. Easy.
I mean, that would solve that problem.
Yeah,
it would produce many more problems.
Maybe an inelegant solution, but I have yet to hear a better one.
You should probably listen to more solutions.
I thought you were going to say probably listen to more podcasts, like the Eye Poke podcast.
That definitely exists.
It does, yeah, but it's probably not about gouging out your eyes in the most, like, conscientious way.
Look, if I have learned one thing with podcasts, is that whatever your interest, no matter how niche, perverse, or dangerous, there is a podcast about it.
A surprisingly well-made podcast about it, probably.
Better than this one.
Oh,
like,
well,
definitely.
Yes.
Are you just sat there with your eyes closed?
No.
I've just noticed you just not opened your eyes since I mentioned.
Shut up.
No. I can
Move on.
staple them to your skull if you like. Keep them nice and open. There you go. Now you
Nope.
open them. Okay, fine. He's okay. Don't button up your shirt over your head. It's weird.
Carry on talking about the evil within 2 weeks. Pretend this isn't
I don't
happening.
know if I can. He looks like a crowning baby.
And he has been birthed.
Hallelujah! Can I slap your ass now? Well, they're not allowed to do that anymore.
No.
They're not allowed to just spank your baby's ass. It's like, ooh, spank that baby.
As fitting as it is to come into this world and just get slapped, it really does set you up for what's to come. But
Yeah, I
it's
guess.
probably not the best idea.
Could be better than me. My mother was like, you were making a weird face, so I rubbed old KFC on your mouth and you stopped. I'm like, yeah, probably because I was like, ugh, fucking what? What the hell is wrong with you, woman?
That was the point at which you realised, and you just went, "Oh, I've got this kind of parent." Oh,
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Well, no, she literally, one of the nurses had KFC and eaten all the stuff off, so she gave me other people's food and rubbed it on my face.
so she rubbed an old KFC bone on you.
Yeah. And apparently, and then it was magic, you just stopped making that face. And I'm like, yeah, because I was like, fuck, I don't want to do that again. I'll get a fucking old second-hand chicken bone shit
Yeah,
in my
someone
mouth.
rubbed old bones on me. I'd probably stop doing whatever I was doing.
Yeah, it's you're sitting there I don't know, washing your car. Someone just runs up and just rubs old bones in your face. You're like, well, I don't want to wash my car now.
Yeah,
I don't do much of anything anymore.
I have new problems.
Bone mouth.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's not a problem.
I mean, yeah, but if you've planned it beforehand,
Yeah.
that's fine.
If you're prepared and you have, you're geared up mentally to have bone mouth.
And everyone involved has consent.
Everyone has consented to bone mouth
Consent
happening.
isn't just sexy, it's mandatory.
Yes. And yeah,
Yeah,
that'd
just
be fine.
go and get bones in your mouth. That sounds
Yeah,
like an
that's
amazing
fine.
time. But to a baby who was 2 days old, it was a bit fucky.
Oh, now we have turned into one of those hyper-specific podcasts. We're now the Bone Mouth Podcast.
Hi, and welcome to the Bone Mouth Podcast. I'm Snipe Bone.
Welcome to the Bone Today.
So, lads, what you boning?
My mouth.
Nice, me too. Drama Matt, what about you?
Wim's mouth.
Everyone's
Everyone.
boning. Your mouth can't wait for my bones.
Yep.
The fuck was
Let's
I
make a
talking
note
about?
that that's the name of the podcast.
Your mouth can't wait for my bones.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm really enjoying The Evil Within. There is
Oh, yeah, that thing. Yeah.
yeah, The Evil Within 2. I don't know. I think Sebastian is a really endearing character. He's a bit of a dilf, which is just that helps.
It's not a word I expected to hear today.
There's a bunch of really cool little touches that I really appreciate. A lot of people find
Stop doing that, you're covering your
okay.
mouth.
A lot of people find the melee takedowns quite it makes them kind of cringe a bit. Now I don't get that myself.
This is actual cringing, not horrible cringe culture.
Not,
internet
oh,
nonsense.
look, this person likes anime. Cringe! Which is just so tedious. Or, look, a little kid said something embarrassing. Let's basically
them for the rest of their
for the
life.
rest of their lives. But no, it's just kind of like a, ooh, okay. And I don't get that. So there's one where you sneak up behind an enemy and he kind of grabs him by the mouth and he just shanks him in the kidneys a couple of times and then stabs him in the head. And people are like, oh god, that's so horrible. And I'm like, okay, I've done way worse in video games.
I was going to say, I've done way worse. Just
In
going
line
down
at the post office, I will say, I have had a lot of problem with the elderly lately, just glaring at me. So I might have to bust out some stealth attacks. Now,
as long as they're stealthy enough, you don't get caught.
Now, okay, I will say I am not going to stab wildly at the elderly.
The MisanthroPod takes a very firm "do not stab random people" policy.
No, make sure you know who you're stabbing.
At what point do we become culpable? I'm not sure.
I don't think we ever will. It's fine. Don't think about it.
I mean, it goes up on YouTube, and you can advocate for all manner of horrifying shit on YouTube,
I think
and no one
the
ever does
worse
anything
shit
about it.
you advocate for, the more money you get from AdSense. Because you don't get your channel deleted.
Oh, you sure as shit don't get that.
But yeah, and there's this really nice touch where you creep up behind someone, and just before the prompt comes up, he takes out his knife and readies himself.
So it's like a
It's
context,
like an automatic
yeah.
context kind of thing, and I'm like, that's really cool. Because he's like, yeah, you would. You'd be like, and he's like, okay, okay, I'm just sneak up, and it's like, that's really rad. I like that a lot. It's just giving me a gun, which is a little bit worrying, because that means there are things to shoot. Don't like that. Ooh, not a fan, actually. But yeah, no, it's like, it looks gorgeous. The the weird environments and like the constant, like the shifting and the changing, and you turn around and a door like slowly opens, or whatever. There was like the classic like scare I got earlier, where you're in like a hotel, and you go through the same place again, and it's all fucked up. It's all like dilapidated. There are bodies hanging from the ceiling. Like, the light that hangs from, like, because it's like a big spiral hotel kind of staircase. And instead of, like, the light, it's a big pendulum ticking back and forth. And then I was like, and it's so great. They use the light trick, where they put light, they illuminate areas you're supposed to go.
Yeah, okay.
And I look around, and there's, like, this door open with, like, I see, like, a corpse's pair of legs hanging out. And I'm like, alright, so I walk towards it, and and the door slams, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go try that door. I have no self-preservation instinct. I'm thick as hell in every sense of the word. So I go on up, and I look through, and there's nothing in there. There's no body, there's no nothing, and I'm like...
From what you're talking about, it sounds a little like the progression from Dead Space 1 to Dead Space 2, where they took it, like, Dead Space 1 is not a bad game, but it has a lot of flaws to it. And then like when they made the second one, granted, it made it a lot more actiony, but they kind of ironed a lot of those things out and made a thing that I personally found was much more effective at doing what it was trying to do. And it sounds like it's a little similar to that.
I would say that's exactly right, yeah. It's like, it's a lot more effective. It is still kind of borderline action horror. It's still spooky. It still has quite intense moments. And it's just, it's fun design. It's like, it does kind of have like basically STEM zombies. But, I mean, I'll forgive it.
Is it really a horror game if it doesn't have zombies?
Apparently not, no. But I mean, like, I don't mind. It's fine. And yeah, I'm enjoying it. The story is engaging. Sebastian is a cool dude. He's just a good dad. And he's trying his best. And I like it. It's cool.
Oh, good. But
yeah, can recommend. Hopefully I'll be able to complete that, being the massive wuss that I am.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much me done. So, Drumbleben.
Hello.
What have you been up to, friend?
That is a good question.
Yes.
Let me consult the document.
The document.
That's
okay.
so freaking ominous.
The doc knows best. So I finished the Mario Rabids game.
Oh, yes.
That has been
Did you unlock the sexy Mario costume?
I apparently have not completed the Mario Rabids game. I will go back. I will see you later. Is that a real thing?
No.
Okay. I mean, it's a sort of game. It kind of could be a real thing. It is.
I think it wouldn't be a sexy.
There
It wouldn't be a
is
sexy Mario. It would be a sexy Mario Rabid.
Yeah. I assumed that's what you meant.
Oh yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
Come on, I know vaguely what I'm talking about.
But no, I've completed the main story of that. I can still go back and collect extra items and complete challenges, of which I'm not going to do the first, but I am going to do the second. Because more challenges means more missions. Cool, I'll do that. I can't bother to collect all the various 3D models and soundtracks that you can see in the museum.
Yeah.
But yeah, can confirm it's a good game. I mentioned it before when I was talking about it, but I've just been really impressed by how good it actually is, because I was not expecting it.
Yeah, I guess when you go into like a game and you've got very kind of low expectations of it, and then it just kind of surprises you with how much you enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I found that with Divinity Original Sin 2. I was just like, it's probably fine. Oh my god, this is the best.
And then that excitement about it hits harder because you weren't expecting to like it.
Yeah. I have finished watching End of the Fucking World, the second series.
Oh yeah, I forgot I had a second series. How was it?
Yeah, we spoke about it last time, but I guess you haven't listened to...
I'm sorry, I'm a fake fan. Oh.
Was it last time we spoke about it?
I think so.
Anyway.
I've been meaning to, but I've just done the stuff so I can put the MisanthroPod on Spotify. So it's pending right now. So next time I go to the gym, I'll listen to you guys talk about fucking trains.
Okay, I mean...
Please tell me you were talking about having sex with trains.
I can't say we weren't talking about trains.
We were talking about trains, not necessarily having sex with trains. I don't believe
that's why you need me here. I'm the unstable, like, fuck element. that comes in, like, you guys...
Is that really something you want to say?
Yes,
Is that really...
I am the unstable fuck element.
Right, okay.
So, like, you guys are going, so, the economy, right? So, you know, and I'm like, but can... Yeah, I don't use a bank, I just roll up some notes and fuck it.
Yeah.
Because then, like, you know, I charge my own interest by fucking it.
Matthew.
Good.
Yes. End of the fucking world.
Yeah, I think when I spoke about it last time, I'd seen the first 2 or 3 episodes and thought, you know what, looks like it's going to do something different enough for it to be worthwhile that it exists. Because, yeah, as we said, after the first season, I was like, well, that was a good 1-season thing. They don't need to do more of this. And then they did, and I was a bit worried. But yeah, can confirm that watching the rest of it, it's a good series, and I'm glad they made it.
Oh,
yeah,
wow,
it goes
cool.
off in a... It's obviously still the similar sort of thing, but it's different enough to be worthwhile of having made it, I think.
Okay.
Which I think
That's
is
cool.
a compliment.
Yeah.
No, it's very good, and I recommend it. And if you haven't seen either of them, I recommend both, because they're great.
Yeah, they're a lot of, like, dark humour, but it's...
Oh yeah, it's quite dark.
It's pretty good, though.
Yeah.
It
We
is...
went through the whole thing in the last episode.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. It's just, like, speaking as someone who isn't British, it's the tolerable end of British, like, dark humour. So it's not like The League of Gentlemen, which is just deeply unsettling and kind of frightening. That scared the shit out of me. Like, I saw the Christmas episode and I literally had to sleep with the lights on. I was like, fuck that.
Well-
that is horrifying. How comedy? Get the fuck out.
The Christmas episode of The League of Gentlemen was, if I remember rightly, is partially based around a home invasion and kidnapping. So, yeah.
Yeah, there's not like a dead body with its eyes and mouth stitched shut that just falls out of a closet onto somebody, and I was just like, okay.
I mean...
What? I'm going to go back and watch Ali G. This is too frightening for me as a little girl.
The only part I remember, the only joke I remember from that
Oh,
episode...
there was a joke in it, was there?
Yeah, there was one joke.
Was there a joke?
Which is where the camera pans over to a robin.
I thought you were going to say a rotting pile of children or something.
It pans over to a robin who's, like, tweeting, like, in the snow. And then...
Well, that means something completely different nowadays, but yeah, carry on.
It's just making it...
It's
just sitting there, you know, making bird noises. And then a hand comes on, grabs it, and pulls it away. And it's actually like a stuffed bird. And just its legs are just left there. Like, the whole body just comes away. And there's just the legs left stuck to the thing.
See, I was thinking it was like a Monty Python one where where you hear to someone kind of going... And then you pick up the bird, and the bird's like, excuse me. I was waiting for a bus. Or something weird like that.
It's a League of Gentlemen. It involves something dying. So, yeah.
Yeah.
That is the closest thing to a joke they had.
God, that fucking show was so scary. But yeah, End of the Fucking World is like the tolerable version of that kind of British humour.
But very good. Highly recommended. There's new Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
I know.
I've seen the first 2 episodes. He's good.
How sexy is it?
I mean, very sexy.
Oh, yeah. Because basically everyone in that show is just hot as fuck.
I'm trying to think of exceptions.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Anyone? No? Yeah.
I mean, Hitchcock and Scully might have been when they were younger. They're a little bit old for me now.
Have you seen young Hitchcock and Scully, though?
I mean,
Because, damn. I mean, they're a bit old for me. I mean, I don't mind, like, you know, a few years, like 10 years is probably about as old as I would go for an older gentleman. But, like, yeah, no, I can imagine they'd be quite tasty, because they thick AF. Oh, they thick. And I'm like, you know, if I was 20 years older... But yeah, everyone is hot as fuck in that. It's just basically a rogues gallery of incredibly hot people.
yeah.
Being very talented and entertaining and endearing.
And yeah, it's more of the same, but that's somehow
That's the
best thing.
Yeah.
So, it's good.
Mm-hmm.
I watched Picard. We've spoken about that.
Yes.
Oh, the last thing I did was I bought Train Simulator because about approximately everyone emailed in and contacted us on Twitter.
I was getting DMs on Twitter saying, "Can you tell Drama Matt that this is on sale?" I was getting fucking DMs on Instagram going, "Hey, tell Drama Matt and Wib that the Train Simulator's like." I think I got like a Steam message. I got there were people coming into streams going, oh, by the way.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm glad you bought it
Yeah,
because everyone is so nice, but
there
also
was
fucking leave me alone.
There was, and it possibly still is, a humble bundle for Train Simulator.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I've heard about it about 8,000 times in the past month.
I bought the middle one. I didn't go for the full, like, all of the expansions. Or all of the ones not all of the ones that exist, because
that's like $3,000.
I think it's $4,000.
Oh, Jesus.
But I bought the main game with the middle amount of expansions you could have got, because I thought that's a safe bet for now.
Yeah.
But, yeah, the for now is probably not going to last long. But I haven't played it yet, so we'll see.
Well, I hope it's good for you.
But thanks everyone.
Literally everyone.
Literally every person that we have ever known.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I'm glad at least someone did because I didn't see it otherwise. So I'd rather everyone emailed in than no one. So I am genuinely grateful.
Honestly, it is. I joke, but it is it is a lovely problem.
It's that problem of when you're like sarcastic about things quite often. You sincerely say thank you. It still sounds like you're taking the piss.
Yeah, we're dreadful human beings.
But yes, that is me done. Apart from, I guess, the notes also say Drummer Matt is the best.
You wrote that there.
Yeah,
also,
but it's
look
still
at
in
my
the notes
formatting.
for me to read.
Look, I format our note files very specifically. So I have wib, : new line, tab, -space, subject. And this is not the way it is set out. And then there's this Drummer Matt : same line, lowercase, is the best.
I mean, I think we could have told that it was...
I am so angry I could fucking shit.
Yeah, but the top word just says chibis in no context and no colon.
That was not me. That was Wib.
Oh, okay.
Because he doesn't respect the system. No respect at all.
Right.
Wib, what is on your perfectly formatted list?
On my perfectly formatted list?
Nothing, because it's not perfectly formatted. It's awful. It's garbage. We should just burn the computer.
I don't think the people at home need to know the intricacies of our note-taking process.
I'm not trying to let them know. I'm trying to fucking shame you into actually having some pride in your note-taking.
It is never going to happen.
I mean, you're using Notepad. How much pride can you have?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, it is on, hot dog. It is on like Donkey Kong. I'm going to fucking throw barrels at you until you come and get Ruth off me.
I'm going to talk about media for a while, okay?
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, that's not what people are tuning in for.
I don't know what they're tuning in for, it's fine.
Obviously, my sparkling personality. Don't laugh at that. I mean, yeah, but... Ow.
Anyway, I'm going to talk about a few games that we played on streams, specifically. Just because I've been working a lot on the next Codex Compliant, and that's taken up a lot of time. Because
we work really hard on it. Like, comment, subscribe, share, and like give us money on Patreon.
Well, the new one,
or just leave nice comments. That's fine too.
The new one, which will that actually be out by the time you hear this? Maybe, I don't know, but it's we've already said what it's about.
It's coming.
I've already said what it's about. It's about the old resin USA manufacturers of 40k miniatures
yes.
in the 90s. So
Forge World.
Yeah.
Yes.
They're totally not confusingly named.
Again, like we were literally talking to a guy in our local GW. We were talking to the guy who works there and asking him weird questions about it. And I had to bite my tongue to stop saying, yeah, Games Workshop has a fucking great track record for just reusing the same goddamn names over and over again. Doesn't make any kind of, like, archival, like rummaging easy.
Oh, quick
jerks.
Quick addendum to the thing at the very start. Those chibis... at your local Games Workshop, they probably won't let you use them in a game.
It's up to managerial discretion at local Games Workshops.
But because each one has their own like sort of rules about these things. But because they're not Citadel miniatures, they probably won't let you use them. However, you can at Warhammer World.
But probably not in a tournament.
But just not like in a tournament.
So you could like if you want to go to Warhammer World with a kill team full of Primaris chibi boys, you can.
Yes, you can. Just put them on the right base and you're fine.
Please do. Because that's hilarious.
But anyways, that's taken up a lot of time. But I've played a few games here and there, and the most interesting things are things that I actually played on stream. So I actually played one on my own the other day that was just playing the original Binding of Isaac, because I've played the Binding of Isaac Rebirth like for over 600 hours.
A perfectly normal amount of time to play that game.
You've got real Platinum Gold, the achievement that like 3% of people have.
It's actually way more than that. It's the type of
Okay,
game
3.5%.
It's like... It's over 10%.
Oh, wow. Ooh.
No, it's like this is a game that if it appeals to you, then
you will lose days.
You get obsessive about it. It's that kind of game.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't. I mean, I thought I hadn't really played the original one. I looked at it. Turned out I played 30 hours of it. And I'm going. I have no memory of this.
It's all blending into the 600 hours.
I went back and tried playing the original one again to see how it was like compared to the remake that I've dumped so much time in. And yeah, that was interesting because it's like a Flash game. It's, like there's lots of subtle ways it's different. Like, so the artwork's obviously very different because it's not got the pixel aesthetic. It looks like a Flash game because it is.
Oh, wow.
It leans a bit more heavily into the Legend of Zelda looking thing. So it's got all your stuff across the top, you
mean like the GUI?
Yeah, the actual the user interface is all like it has it at the top where it's sort of spread around now to make it fit more to like a standard screen size, whereas the old one is like 4x3.
About the size of that notepad file.
Yeah, that's a very.
I don't even know what to do with that. Yeah,
I swear to God, you go out of your way to mention every 10 minutes something that a listening audience has no context and can never have context for.
Hi, audience. Please be sure to tell Wib how wrong he is and how amazing I am for constantly putting shit out that makes no sense to you by sending your emails to onlydrummermat@snipeandwib@gmail.com. Please put in the title.
Now you made me have to read these things.
Yeah, I'm dragging you both fucking down.
Anyway,
I want no part of this.
Anyway, there's a lot of things that are very different. So down from the resolution to the graphics looking different to the fact the music's different because it had a completely different soundtrack.
Oh dang! Oh wait, no, I remember hearing about that.
The old Danny B the old Danny B soundtracks in that one. And it's a really cool soundtrack. Although I was saying, I actually think I like the newer one as a soundtrack better, but I like listening to the old one better, more. Okay. That's better music to listen to. I personally find.
So it's more kind of it's because soundtracks and music to just listen to and enjoy are different. They are geared differently. Soundtrack music tends to be an accompaniment, and it is also incredibly mood driven. And it is kind of that's why I like listening to soundtracks, say, when I'm writing or whatever. Yeah. You listen to a battle theme, or you listen to a nice soft thing for whereas actual music tends to be more you can just listen to this at any point kind of thing. I don't think I'm explaining myself very well.
What you're trying to say is that soundtracks are there to fulfill the purpose of bolstering a piece, an already existing piece of media, and to influence and enhance it, whereas music is something that can stand on its own merits.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah.
Obviously.
But anyway, the soundtrack's different. There's the way some power-ups and things work is slightly different. There's lots of little things like that. Ooh. And it's even the fact that I think it runs at 30 frames a second as opposed to
it's more cinematic.
I think 60 frames. I think is the way that the later ones capped out.
Not very cinematic.
And so there's just this overall layer. Oh, also by default you can't use a controller on it. You have to use a keyboard. So it's it's weird. It's you're playing the same fundamental game, but every element of it is subtly
slightly different. Yeah.
Or majorly different in some instances. So it's a game you're very aware of and very familiar with, but it's just not quite the same.
That sounds like a psychological thing of... I can't remember what it's called, but it's basically... You can summarize it in a sentence of, I'm so much smarter in my native language.
Yeah.
Which I will give everyone a quick thing. There are a lot of people who don't say, for argument's sake, speak English as a native language, and they'll come over and they'll go to university and they will struggle academically because they can't use English as naturally as their native language to explain certain things or do certain stuff. So it's incredibly frustrating and annoying for them because they don't have the tools, even though they can do it, they can understand it, and very well, but in another language, they can't achieve that, and it's very frustrating. Which is basically the same as not being able to use a controller for playing the Binding of Isaac.
Yeah, totally the same. I am suffering as much. Yes.
When will they build your statue?
I don't know. But yeah, so that was interesting, and yeah, I did a whole stream of it. I got to the heart like once, but I basically picked up no extra damage boosting items, so it was.
It was like spitting into tsunami.
Yeah, it was. It eventually killed me. So that was a whole thing. I didn't get super far, but I did manage to like beat Mom multiple times. So
Does it have the same depth in terms of the amount of extra bosses and things that just keep
not
going?
as much, because a load of stuff has been added, especially because there's been multiple add-ons to Afterbirth. Rebirth is its original name, but the Binding of
just stop saying the B word. It's gross. Bleh.
I can't.
After Blur. Just say after Blur. Just say after Blur.
I can't not, no.
Everyone knows what it means. It's not weird. Why are you going to make it weird?
I've got to say it now because I've got...
The look of exasperation in your eyes right now.
Anytime we record, he's doing that 90% of the time. Which is every time you hear me say, like, what are you looking at? That's the face he's pulling, and he's just like, this bitch. Ugh.
But yeah, because they've added so many things in since the release of Rebirth and the various add-on packs they've done, it means that there's a lot more to the later game, but the same basic structure is still there.
Okay.
So it's the same bit. So you've still got to like repeatedly beat it to get past the original Mum fight, and then you can then beat the heart, and then that can lead you into the places where you can fight Satan and stuff. And it has a whole like thing of it. The version that is currently on Steam is the Wrath of the Lamb one, so the Lamb is in it.
Is Lilith in it?
Lilith is not in it.
Because Lilith is my favourite character.
I think she was added in Afterbirth Plus, I think. I'd have to check, because I'm not 100% sure offhand, because they added a lot of stuff in multiple add-on packs, and I can't. And they're all basically since the original release of the game, and they released the remake. Everything's had a similar enough name that I can never remember, so it can be quite difficult. But yeah, that was fun. We also on stream played through a compilation of games that was released recently, which is the Haunted PS1 Demo Disc 2020.
Oh, that is fantastic. It's just again, it's like it's a collection of it's like an old PS1 demo disc where you have like it's a disc with a bunch of different demos on it, and some of them are pretty wank.
Some of them are really shit.
I hated Neko Yume because it was literally just LSD Dream Emulator, but they reskinned stuff with cats, and it was just like, wow, it's awful garbage.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it's made by like one person, grats for that. But
but at the same time, it's like it's not.
I did not enjoy it.
No. There was that one where it's like Sauna 2000, which honestly had so many video effects on it, it made me basically instantly have a headache, along with half the stream chat, so we had to stop playing that one. Yeah. Because, oh my god, ow.
Yeah, it was so the general conceit, of course, is to make it like a PlayStation 1 demo disc, and every game that was on it, because it's a PC game and it's all running in Unity, but the games in it were stylized to look as if they were from that time, from the PlayStation 1 time. Some of it, some committed to that ideal far more than others, and some of the games are very much... I think some were made for it, and some were just existing games that fit the conceit.
There's a game there called Filth Breed, which had existed prior, which is also... It's pretty good. There's a lot of different endings, and it's just spooky shit, and it's gross.
Is that the one where you can finish the game instantly by walking into the haunted place and then turning around and walking out?
Yeah, and then you get like the like the yellow belly ending or whatever, and it's just like, okay, I like how you can do that, because
nope.
You go in and it's like, oh yeah, there's like these weird cultists and like there's weird shit going down. You've got to go in on your own and figure it out as like a cop or whatever, and you can just go in and go, this is spooky, bye. And then it's just like the case shuts down, and like everyone's just like thinks you're gutless or whatever. But it's like, yeah, you can do it.
One I particularly liked was it Heartworm?
Heartworm I loved. I played that one. That was the first one we played.
Yeah, it's very Silent Hill.
Very Silent Hill / like it's got the fixed camera angles. It's got the tank controls. You play as a lady called Sam, and it does at the end of the demo say that coming soon, and I would love to play a full version of that game.
Yeah, I'd be very intrigued.
Ooh, that had some really good tension. It emulated the PlayStation 1 style wonderfully. It just, honestly, as like someone who likes those kinds of games, such a flood of nostalgia as well, because it's like, it's obvious the person who made it also loves these games, and like you can just tell.
Yeah,
and they just get what makes it work.
Yeah, I will offer a small bit of advice to anyone who chooses to play this whole demo disc thing, which I do recommend, because even though some of the games aren't super great,
it's still a good experience.
It's still a good experience. But when you select the game, it will open a new instance of Unity.
Only press play once.
Yeah. Okay. So what happens is, when you click on the thing to say go, there's a little bit of a pause, and you may be tempted to press it a second time. If you do that, you'll have two instances of the game open, which may not be which sometimes isn't a problem. Like when we played Heartworm. Is it Heartworm or Heartworms?
It's Heartworm. Singular.
When that opened, because it meant that the music from the title screen was playing all through the game in the background, creating a weird dissonant effect the whole time. But we didn't notice because it worked.
It worked well, yeah.
But generally, you don't want that to happen. So when you press the button, just wait. It'll come up. Yeah. It just takes about 5 seconds more than you expect it to.
What was the other one? It was like an open world kind of thing. Dread.
I can't remember its name, but yeah, there's a big open world one that seemed really cool.
Yeah, and if you pick there's 2 classes you can pick at the beginning, which it is going to be expanded into like a proper game, apparently. If you pick the Enforcer, which is basically the strength build, life will be impossible. Pick the Scribe, because then you can read.
Yeah, you forget how to read if you decide to be
No,
an
you
Enforcer.
just never learn how to read, because you're all brawn instead of brains.
So that's the thing.
Yeah.
But that one was good.
Yeah, it's a really cool environment, really interesting kind of grim dark kind of setting. It's just interesting, and I'd really like to play the full version of that as well.
But yeah, so definitely go check that out. You can find it really easily. They even released a really fun trailer, which
which is very 90s,
sort of playing into it, of a skeleton shouting at someone to play a video game.
It's like, hey kid, you want to play some scavenge games? And the kid's like, whoa, that sounds gnarly, or whatever.
But yes,
actual advert may differ from what I just did.
But the one thing I do really want to talk about, and this is a more general thing, is that Snipe and I played through a Dungeons and Dragons game.
We did.
We won't be going anywhere near into the detail we normally do of like a play-by-play, because it was too long.
We played for about 7 hours.
Solid.
Nice.
It was just one.
Amazing.
It was just the one shot, one whole thing.
So you could tell people who your character is.
Yes. So.
Yeah, but you got to do the voice as well.
Okay, so just to set this up, so the game was myself and Snipe with Longfang and our friend Unity playing, and the DM was a lovely lady we know called Pyro.
She DMs a lot. So.
And yeah, she DMs a lot. So she set up this one shot for us, and so we all show up in the bar, and we all have our characters. We've basically been given a thing saying, "Oh, come here, and there's a thing for great wealth. We'll give you a task." And because again, we're not going to go into detail, but basically we had to go to a place that had these gnomish like science,
ruins.
These gnomish ruins, and find the thing underneath because someone's messing around with like gnomish tech. And we had to go there and sort that, and sort out whoever was fucking around with the stuff down there.
Yeah.
Now that was the basic kind of conceit. Now the characters we had was would you like to introduce your character first?
My character is a Tabaxi monk called Clouds at Noon, or just Noon for short. She has travelled basically at the behest of her guild patron to fulfill this quest. And she travelled with Longfang's character, Macus, who's a big, like, fucking 7 foot tall, I think he's like a half giant or something, fighter. And we're already in the pub. We're already sat there. He's drinking at like 11 a.m. because that's just Macus, isn't it?
The image that he used to represent him was Hamilcar Bear Eater, just to get a good grasp
Which,
of the situation.
honestly, yeah, it's pretty good.
Now, my character, I was playing a goblin because...
you are a goblin.
When I'm given the option to play a goblin, I'm going to play a goblin. And I decided to play a rogue. More specifically, I played a swashbuckler.
Okay.
And my character was kind of stylized as wearing like a tricorn hat and like a big thick kind of pirate coat. Never really came out why, except I think it did come out at one point that even though he is dressed like a pirate, he has never been on a boat.
Because that's just him.
Yeah. Now, the thing about the character is that they are largely built around the fact that decided that it would be really funny to name them Normal. Their name is Normal. And that means that
normal name.
Whenever I introduced myself, I got to say, and this character does have an annoying voice, is, "Hi, I'm Normal." The entire character is based around that.
It literally is.
Yeah, and, you wanted to say that, and then you were like, right, how can this be?
Yeah, basically. And it's a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Now,
Unity's character...
Yeah, Unity's character...
was an artificer.
Yeah.
Which is from the new Eberron book.
They're effectively a mage, but it's all tech.
Yeah.
They're a really cool thing. However, the character they were playing as, I believe they were using effectively the stats of a half-elf. Mm-hmm. But they were actually...
They were a 4-foot sentient octopus.
Yeah, they were an awakened octopus.
Nice.
Called Freddy.
It's like super cheerful octopus. And like, Long Fat and I's characters are quite serious. And we look at this comedy goblin and a fucking octopus wearing a top hat. And we're just like...
Freddy and Normal got on well.
They did. Yeah, they were like also super racist against my tabaxi.
No, we weren't.
So racist. He was like, "I don't like the cat. She's rude."
Because you were being rude to me.
Because she didn't like you.
So this isn't Normal being racist. It's you being racist against goblins.
This isn't Normal being racist.
No, this is your character being racist against goblins.
No, she just didn't like the fact that he didn't look like he was taking everything seriously. Mm-hmm. And she didn't like Freddy because,
because he is a rogue at fucking 5th level, he gets like +10 to various nonsense things. Mm-hmm. So it's like... So the first thing we do is go and get supplies, and... We
go to a potion shop where there's just this crazy old dwarf woman charging 27 gold for a potion. And I was just like, "Lady, no."
And I discovered something there, which is that Normal, because he is...
Normal.
He was an urchin on the streets. That's like kind of his back thing. Like, his whole backstory doesn't really even come up in the thing, and so I won't talk about it because I ever use the character again, so I can... sort of like make some of it still be kind of a surprise for people. But, he existed on the streets for a long time, so he is good at nicking things, because he had to be. And I found out that even though he's not like a thief, if he's left in a place for so long, he gets bored.
He gets sticky hands.
And then he starts nicking things. So, like, the first thing he does is, like, he goes and, like, looks over and, like, sees a bright glowing blue potion, so he's like, and just...
He has a +10 to sleight of hand.
Yeah, because I've got a +10 to sleight of hand, it's like, oh yeah, what did you roll for that? 25? Yeah, you got that. Yeah.
When we were leaving, Pyro was like, "Yeah, that potion is like worth 250 gold."
It was a potion of like, was it like
giant strength?
Like ice giant strength, I think it was.
Nice.
So it was like a 270
You
odd
also
gold
stole
potion.
a root that made your eyes water.
Yeah, I there was like I was like, can I steal anything else? Like after a bit more time had
She
passed.
was like, "Well, there's no more potions, but there is like a weird looking rubbery root, which we decided was a dildo."
Yeah,
because of course we did.
It was purple and everything. So I stole that as well, and then afterwards. Oh, also, when Noon wandered off into an alleyway.
She wandered off in an alleyway to do some secret stuff, and he just followed her and listened in.
Because it turns out that, again, when you're rolling, when you've got +10 to stealth, you can just follow people and they can't do dick about it.
And then, she tried to follow you when you were going to nibble on the dildo, and, was caught immediately, and she's like, "Oh, for fuck's sake."
I'm just like, yeah, I know you're there.
And she was like, "Good."
Yeah.
And just hung out with her.
But I saw it, so yeah, I took a sip of the potion, and so I knew what that did. And I kind of sniff of the root, and it made my eyes
water.
My eyes water, and suddenly feel like they were more like more efficient or something, like sharper. And I was like, okay. And so I kind of put it away. We then go off, and we go through a bunch of things to get to the place we need to get to, including climbing a wall. I
climbed a wall because I'm a tabaxi and I have a climb speed of 20, so I was like, done.
Yeah. Yeah, so you climb up the thing like really, really easily.
Yeah, I've got claws.
And we take far too long to get up that thing, including people falling off the cliff multiple times.
Yep.
But then when we all get to the top, I like turn to Freddy and like pull out the root and go, "Hey, do you want to eat this thing I stole?"
While Marcus and I are walking ahead, so we're not there to supervise.
And it takes a bite of it, and it turns out that what it actually does is
blinds you.
Yeah, if it's carefully prepared, it can make you like see into other realms. If you just take a bite of it raw, it blinds you.
Yeah, and like we hear screaming, and we turn around and we're like, "What have you done now?"
Like his eyes are like
They're, like,
pouring with foam.
Like they're frothing, and we're like, "What? How did that happen?" And
And
Freddy's like,
Normal was like, look, there's a lot of blame to go around now.
"Yeah."
Let's
and
not
he's
play
like,
the blame
he's
game.
like, "There's a lot of people here to blame." Noon.
For example, for not watching me.
Yeah, and I was just like, "I don't like this weasel. I don't like this hobgoblin."
It turns out it was temporary, and fortunately, Freddy had a potion that could like deal with it, and like because it was like a cure poison thing, so he got rid of it.
Yeah,
it was
then
fine.
Marcus literally throws both of you 10 feet ahead.
You-
It's like, "You look, we're going to keep an
Yeah.
eye on you now, so
We
we
then
have
go-
to keep an eye on you."
We go further forward. We have a big old fight with some weird
Insectoid
insect
people, which I managed to spot mainly because they rolled so badly on their stealth.
Yeah,
So we
and you
managed
rolled
to
really high
preempt
with
it.
your perception.
Yeah. So
However,
we take all those down.
The absolute best part about that was that there was a part where, because the character Longfang is playing is
Marcus. Marcus.
Yeah, I know the name. I was just saying.
I'm saying for the...
Yeah. Sorry, I thought you were telling me.
No.
But the really funny thing was, because the character of Marcus is an Asimar, so they can turn into a big angelic kind of like turbo form.
Which
there
he did.
There was a bit where he was fighting this thing, and he turns into the big thing, like lightning
Like, he literally
strikes
turns
around
into
him.
Thor.
He turns into Thor, the god of thunder. Lightning strikes everywhere, and then whiffs both hits. When I attack the same enemy, I fall off a cliff, land on my face, take 11 points of damage, get up, brush myself off, and then just stab it with a rapier and do like 18 points of damage because I'm playing a swashbuckler, so I get to stealth people or like sneak attack people to their face. It's like, oh yeah, as long as there's no one else around, you get sneak attack even if they're looking at you. Like, okay, cool. So and then we found that normal has a hidden power, which is whenever a character goes invisible, which happened twice in this adventure.
Yep. If he just runs like his ass is on fire in a direction, he will bump into them.
Yeah. Basically, I'd look around trying to see if I can see where they were coming, like hear where they were coming from, and I managed to like look out both times, run in that direction, and just run straight into them, and then go aha and stab the thin air.
Yeah.
And it worked both times.
It worked both times somehow. But yeah, then we find the ruins, we go in, and we do like a lever puzzle. We go into a room where there's a bunch of like statues lined up with like they've got arms, they've got like, you know, and I mean swords and shields and stuff.
Oh, right, okay.
On both sides. Normal decides to try and like steal some parts
I
of
was
them.
left alone for more than 2 minutes,
Yeah, you're
and there was
right.
nothing
You're right.
going on.
It's our fault.
Yeah.
So I start seeing if I can like pry any of like the
Which
valuable
makes
things
the
off.
entire line of about 6 like fucking like golems spring to life and attack us.
More specifically,
I get like
well, 3 of them attack me. I'm a rogue. I can't deal with like having multiple enemies stabbing me at the same time.
no. Well, we get through it.
Sorry, I needed it, but I didn't want to
Oh.
go mid-sentence.
That's okay.
I couldn't quite tell what was being communicated.
I was just trying to not
Yeah.
cough, but I couldn't. Anyway,
Okay.
carry on.
You good?
Yeah.
So we get through this. We do another puzzle, and we walk through like we basically drain a room full of acid, and we walk through it. Freddy takes a bunch of damage because he's an octopus just like dry humping the floor.
I do towards the end of the adventure say, isn't it amazing how, of course in Normal's voice, I'm not going to do it here, isn't it amazing how abnormal things become normal? Like, we've spent the entire day
With a fucking
with
walking,
an
talking octopus.
with a talking octopus, and this is just the new, like, this is the standard baseline for us now. This is
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Like, we don't question it anymore.
Did the octopus have like
He had like a
fish
big
tank
coat
on his head to be able to breathe?
No.
No.
Okay,
He just existed.
just existed.
We didn't
He was
ask.
there. He
That's
had a big
fine.
coat on.
He was wearing a
he had
hat.
Yeah.
Look like a rat wanker.
Octodad.
We did have a whole
Nobody
thing.
suspected a thing.
We did have a whole thing.
Everyone suspected everything.
We did have a whole thing of realising that
Nice.
whenever we like shook his hand or anything, we had a 1 in 8 chance of
Yeah,
shaking
Pyro
the
was
hands.
like, I
lots of
have a
people.
D8 that I'm
Yeah.
rolling.
We're all,
We were like,
we're, all,
oh no.
we're all talking over each other.
Okay.
Did realise that whenever we say shook his hand or whatever, that we had a 1 in 8 chance of shaking the hand of an octopus that is actually their penis.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pyro did say she was rolling like a 1d8 every time. But yeah, so we get into this big chamber and there's like this huge like turquoise glowing sphere. It's fucking gigantic. And there's like this gigantic mech in the middle of the room with a bunch of the golem construct kind of things. And there's a person floating on this like arm in the middle of the room and we're like, the BBEG.
Mm-hmm.
Let's fuck them up. So we go in, roll initiative, and I basically charge the mech and quite quickly realise it has a glowing fuck me light. So we all just destroy it, and then it actually, like, it's a bit confused, but then it starts attacking our enemies. And we're like, oh yeah. And like the first thing it did was basically just smash something so hard on the ground it turned into paste. And we were like, thank God we didn't have to fight that fucking thing.
yeah.
Oh God. But yeah, then this, like, the BBEG, they were like 30 feet in the air. Now, I have, like, an ability as a tabaxi called Feline Agility, which I can't remember exactly what it does, but
It like doubles your jump.
it doubles my... it doubles my, my speed, so I can basically, like, dash without any, like, negative... Like it's basically, like, it's a massive, like, boost to movement speed, where I get it back when I spend an entire round of combat not moving. So I'm like, okay... So I'm going to do that, and there's another ability I had, which I spent a key point to do, like, there's something swiftness, which means that I can double my movement speed.
Tabaxi combined with monk is...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Broken.
Okay, yep.
So what I did was, I basically ran up to a pipe, jumped 20 feet, because I couldn't quite jump 30 feet. I think I could jump 20 or 15 feet. Into this person's crane, and fucking Sparta kicked them to the ground. And then jumped down and landed dead in front of them like, what? They wanted me dead so hard, it was hilarious.
I did also at the start of the fight give Marcus the
strength potion.
the strength potion. So he was
He had a
wandering around.
+9 to hit.
Yeah, because he had 23 strength because of that. Mm-hmm. So yeah, he was pretty tough.
Yeah. And like, yeah, that was a tough fight. It was tough. I got down to 3 HP.
Yeah.
Down from I lost 30 HP just because the BBEG hated me.
Well, you did throw them off their thing.
No,
and...
I kicked them fuck down, and they ate shit. They cast Melt Armor on Marcus, which, oh my God, Melt Armor is brutal. That is nasty.
Is that heat metal, but worse?
Yeah.
Oh no, I don't think it's as worse.
They were just casting heat metal.
Oh yeah, Melt Metal. I always think it's Melt Metal.
Yeah.
I'm a dingus. Yeah. But yeah, that was a really tough fight.
Do you want to just repeat that? Cause...
Okay, I don't know what I was saying. So, but yeah, it was a really tough fight. But we managed it.
Yeah.
And I did beat the ever-loving heck out of the BBEG. And then as they were looking really bad and weak, they just and vanished, and we were like, oh fuck no, they've gone invisible. So of course, normal
I use my special power.
just runs in one direction and literally bumps into them.
Yeah.
And then basically carves up their knees, and then that's it, they're dead. They're
No, Marcus did come in and do the actual final blow.
Yeah, then he beheaded them
Yeah.
because we needed proof.
And then there was a whole thing of the big...
the mech, the center opens, and there's an old gnome in it, and he's like, oh, thanks, And he's basically like, this place is going up, I'm going to stay here and make sure it's destroyed.
But
it's like, oh shit, okay.
What was great is that you were having this sensible conversation, and so Normal just took that opportunity to rifle through the end boss's possessions, carefully categorizing it all. So while that was going on, he was going
He was
through...
in the back pulling fillings out of the teeth.
And I rolled a nat 20 for my investigation check for doing it. So I got everything.
Everything.
We've killed the boss.
We leave because the place is going to explode.
And on the way back, we had a little interesting encounter. So we had to sleep on the way back, and so we had the whole
staying watch.
The whole staying watch. Now, on my watch, now there'd earlier been a thing of me saying that, one of Normal's favourite foods is a rat in a bun.
Yeah, because my character tricked your character into basically, with minor illusion, because I'm Way of the Shadow. I have the cantrip minor illusion, which means I can make anything appear within a 5x5 cube. So I make the biggest rat burger I can appear, and I'm like, I'll tell you what, if I show you a magic trick, you'll give me one of them necklaces. And he's like, you're on! I'm like, shut your eyes. And then I make it happen. He's like, whoa! And he's got low intelligence.
I have 6 intelligence.
Yeah.
Good.
So he was like,
Good.
wow! I guess it's a magic trick. Here you go.
Yeah.
And then, then the rat thing started
So during the night, I hear a bit of a scurry. And I turn around, and there's a rat in the middle of the camp. And I'm, of course,
delicious.
tasty.
Excellent.
Time.
So I stealth upon the rat.
Yeah.
Rolling again 27 stealth or whatever it was. So I stealth upon the rat, but it sees me.
No. It's like just as you're about to jump on it, it turns around like the dramatic chipmunk gif. Like do and it rolled a nat 20 on perception and was like.
So I
which
pounce.
was the funniest fucking thing.
So I pounce and spear it.
Right.
And I'm like, okay. And then I look at it, and then it's got a bit where it's in its head. You can see exposed brain, like it's got an enlarged brain. I'm like, this is a bad rat. I decide not to eat it because it's obviously weird.
Yeah.
And so I go and just dump it outside the camp, and then on the way back into the camp, I encounter 9 other rats who are sitting there, and then telepathically communicate
They're
to
like,
me.
hey, what you do with Tony? Like in really thick New York accents.
I'm like, what?
So yeah, then you basically roll initiative and just kick half of them to death.
Well, yeah, I just pull up my rapier and okay, we're doing this. I try to wake everyone up, go, guys.
We're all
and then
sleeping.
Everyone's just asleep and won't wake up. So yeah, I just attack them and just kill half of them with a single swing, and they're
they all back away clicking because they're West Side Story rats.
and they're basically and I'm like, yeah, you run away. It's we're not running. We're just backing up. It's now you're running, and now you're running, and they're like, no, we're not running away. So I run at them, and then they run.
And then I have a watch. I'm sat there, and I look up over a rock, and there's just a solitary rat glaring at me. So I glare back at it, and I intimidate the crap out of it, and it slowly backs away.
And then nothing happens for Macca's, and then during the last watch where Freddy's watching, a giant rat dressed like a human, in a suit, comes up and is basically
there appears to have been a misunderstanding. Basically, just what was it? I completely ruined Pyro's thing because I just came in and went, you come to me on the day of my daughter's wedding, and she was like, God damn it, I was actually going to do that.
Basically they were they try I tried to kill one because I was hungry.
But they were this is a direct attack against what?
And so they tried
the cranium rat mafia.
Yeah. And so they tried to start a shoot with me, and they just got instantly destroyed because they're rats.
Yeah.
And then they were saying we just want it's just hard out here. We don't want to start. We don't want any trouble. And then I wake up with a note attached to my face.
And then Pyro reads this really good note, and then fucking Normal is like, ha. They assume I can read, and just throws it away. It's oh my god!
Yes! Oh, I love that!
Oh! And then we go back and we get paid.
Yeah,
that's the best.
That's it, yeah.
I love Normal. I love playing Normal. He's great. And what's even better is you don't even know his whole backstory, because he is a dickhead, but he's actually not bad. He's not a bad guy.
He's normal.
He's normal.
He's normal. But yeah, so that was we tried to truncate it, but yeah.
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 It's pretty great.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. But yes, I guess it is time for questions.
Le questiones.
Where should the questions be sent to, Snipe?
I hate you. Only Drummer Matt at snipeandweb@gmail.com.
Yes, if you want to send questions, send them to onlydrummermatt@snipeandweb@gmail.com. The email address is in the description. Don't
Please
worry.
send us emails. Don't feel nervous. And also, title them with Wib is wrong.
Also, if you touch them in the subject line, I won't read them. So
Yeah, but it's a thing for me. I'll know it's there.
Okay, so first up, lots of people emailed in and to send you guys well wishes for being ill and various things.
Aww,
So
that's really nice.
it was very nice. So I won't mention specifics because most people who emailed in mentioned it at the start.
Okay.
So just assume that everyone did.
Okay, thank you, everybody.
But everyone was very lovely.
Aw.
Thank you very much.
Don't know where you found them all from. Nice people on the internet.
I know, what the hell? I think we're just collecting all of the good ones.
I think yeah.
And you know
Right.
what? I'm okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're rad.
Okay, first up, Reese.
Hello.
One thing I found helpful when I'm low myself is to bake bread. So here is a bread recipe recommendation from a YouTube channel, which doesn't need any kneading and doesn't need much work, and it's good bread and it's good for if you're feeling down.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, so we've been sent a recipe.
Yeah. The YouTube channel is called Binging with Babish, which is a
Cool.
really great channel, but there's a specific low maintenance, low effort, whatever the word is, bread recipe.
Oh.
And they just recommended it for if you're feeling a bit down, making some homemade bread is a nice way of...
Okay.
Yeah.
No, that's cool. I mean, I do occasionally like to just put some effort into cooking something and then freeze it all for when I'm super, super depressed. So I can, instead of having like half a bag of Skittles and a coffee for dinner, I can have like rice or something nice and tasty. But yeah, no, thank you very much, Reese. I'll have a look at that.
Treating yourself well with good food is good.
Good morale boost.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Technician Sourwell. Snipe.
Yeah.
Have you watched Doom Annihilation? And
No.
a second follow-up question. If so, how much did you hate it?
So I'm getting a feeling they want me to answer in a specific way here.
Honestly, the people that I've heard talk about it have said it's not as bad as you think it's going to be.
As long as it's as good as the first one, I'm fine.
I don't think calling the Doom movie that stars Dwayne The Rock Johnson
Okay,
and
Dwayne
Carl
The Rock
Urban...
Johnson is a very cool dude, and I could watch him in anything.
Yes, but that doesn't
especially
mean
in porn.
that doesn't mean that the Doom movie is good, though.
Okay, I found it enjoyable, and no, I keep meaning to watch Doom Annihilation, but I'm also kind of a bit reticent to buy it, so I'm kind of waiting it for pop on Netflix, which I think it is, and I've just ignored it.
So basically, you have no excuse.
No, but thank you for asking, and I will update everyone if I watch it and on how much I hate it. So
Okay.
Good. Some guy camping. My question for you all is, have you ever had to deal with that guy in your gaming group?
Yeah, drama mat. When I first got into Warhammer, everyone else I played with was that guy. Like, if I didn't know the rules, it was heavy sighing and read the fucking book. It's like, oh, you mean those books I don't own? And you're trying to, like, this was like my test game. You know how you always want to infect someone else with the plastic crack? This was like my first test game, playing with them, trying to get me into it, and it was constant bitching about how I didn't have any of the stuff. And I'm like, well, no, I don't know if I like it yet. This is my first game.
Wasn't this playing the Lord of the Rings game as well?
Yeah, which is honestly, that would have put me off just as is. But yeah. Honestly, I tend to play with people that I know. I don't really do like pickup games or random games. So I've never really had like that much of a that guy kind of thing.
Yeah, I've played with a few people, like...
Oh, I know. There's one specific that guy.
Yeah, I think...
We played with a couple of times.
The only time I've played...
We all played with them as well.
I mean, I was going to talk about, like, the one time when I entered a little tournament, I encountered the closest thing to a proper that guy, which was the person that ran the tournament. It was like a 750-point tournament, and thought,
It was a fucking parking lot list.
He brought, like, 3 Lehman Russes, and just parked them in the corner, and it was supposed to be, like, a really kind of, like, oh, it doesn't matter, like, it's not competitive or anything. It's like, yeah, this is at the point, this is, like, 5th ed, so they have 14 armor on the front. Like
orcs can barely do anything to that.
Yeah, like, a lot of races can't have had real trouble dealing with 14 armor at that point, and you've just built a list that, yeah, nothing can really deal with that.
It was really, like, mean-spirited and min-maxy, and I don't think he
And it was the person running the tournament, which makes it really bad.
Yeah, which makes it even worse, because he shouldn't have been in the fucking tournament.
Not if he's going to do shit like that.
No, definitely not. And it was, like, lauded as, oh, it's just a friendly, like, pastime, it's cool, and then he was just being a dick, but yeah.
But that's the closest I've...
Yeah. What about you, Drummer Bum?
The only...
If you want to mention me, you can. I won't be upset.
Well, I mean, you're not that guy. You just get very into character. And you play as characters that are sometimes a little bit annoying.
Like,
No, not at all, not at all. No, I have played with in my old group. We had two DMs, and they sort of rotated for round and about. And one of them, they weren't quite that guy, but they were a little. Rather than sort of setting challenges that the players could defeat by being creative and thinking a way around it, he'd set challenges where there was one way of doing it, and if you didn't do it exactly like that, you'd be stuck in the room for 3 hours because until you got the exact right way of doing it. Which, and I don't want to have a go at DMs because it's like a big thing to say you'll DM for people. Like that's cool, and I don't want to put anyone off.
Yeah, I do feel as a DM you need to learn how to be flexible.
But yeah, that
because
is
sometimes you need to hand wave a thing just for brevity or like game flow, or if people aren't having fun, there's an issue. You know what I mean? It's like, so I think like I wouldn't mind if a DM was just like, oh, you finally figured it out because you've been fiddling with it for so long that it's just broken and it's open. You know, yeah. I would be like, you know what, that moves us on. That's fine.
It sounds like it's that.
It's a tricky predicament.
It sounds like you're generally going to have a problem when the DM is seeing it a little bit more like it's them versus the players. Which that sounds like that.
Versus the world you made.
Yeah, whereas it's supposed to be more... I've always viewed D&D as it being collaborative storytelling.
Yeah.
And like everyone's kind of working together, and that includes the DM. It's like you're solving the DM's problems, but the DM has to kind of work with them a bit in order to make it flow, because like their job is not to kill the players, it's to
make them earn it,
let them have fun, but make them earn it. In my opinion,
overcome like adversity and stuff, and just yeah.
And I mean, sometimes that involves killing the players.
Yeah,
but that's not the primary objective.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because otherwise you just throw giant dragons at them and things from level 1.
Yeah, it's just like okay, just punch someone in the face next time, dude.
But I mean, I've really only played both 40k and D&D with people who even if I don't know them super well, I know them well enough to know that like they're not going to be a dick about things.
Yeah.
So it's only been the times I've ventured outside of that I've encountered any problems at all. And even then, like just someone bringing a shitty list to a tournament it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a big deal. It's annoying, but it's like the fact that I have to go to those depths to pick someone kind of says how fortunate I've been.
We have been pretty lucky collectively,
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, yeah, we're all very lucky, I think.
Yes.
Right. Next up. Doidy.
Hello.
Okay, question, I believe this is for Web.
Okay.
And I believe there's a very obvious answer.
Okay.
Would you support the righteous uprising of the oppressed class known as Gretchins?
I am literally, at this point in time, building a Grot Rebellion army, so yes.
Oh.
Good. I mean, I don't think anyone...
Eat your oppressors. They're made of mushrooms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm currently building a Grot Rebellion force. Just a small one, because building a big one means that you have to paint like 90 grots. And I'm not 100...
You're not quite there yet.
I'm not committed to that yet, although I do kind of want to, because there is something... It is a power move to show up to a game and put 90 grots on the table and go, that's 270 points. How many shots do you get per turn?
I don't know. How hard can I hit you?
Also, you can do shenanigans like with...
Just take that to a tournament and be like, what, bitch? 1 hour time limit, let's go.
I am 100% getting the Apocalypse movement trays for them, though.
Good.
Because even just having one... Because I've currently got 20 grots together, which I've done a lot of modifications of, like, I've got little nail art stars and things.
Yeah, I've been, like, I suggested, like, nail art, because it's small... but it's quite detailed.
Yeah. So I've been
been using those for like embellishments and stuff.
Yeah, so I've like made like kind of big like Ushanka style hats for them, and then putting a big star on the front of it, like my Red Gobbo has, because my Red Gobbo is made from the Christmas one, but made to be not Christmas.
Yeah.
More of an old school Red
Yeah,
Gobbo.
just kind of. I sort of put it as like he's just winter tactics, Red Gobbo. But yeah, slowly building those up, and yeah, trying to modify them a fair bit so they don't just look like, because there's only 10 Grot models.
Mm-hmm.
So trying to mix and match them, swap out weapons and just light modifications here and there so they're not all the same. But yeah, Grot Rebellion forces are great. I love them. I feel it's always been my destiny to collect one.
I mean, yeah, I'm surprised it's taken this long to do
Honestly,
this.
same.
Okay, do you have any thoughts on Hosier?
The musician?
It says apologies for the vague question, so I don't entirely know.
There is a musician called that, and I have never listened to a single thing they've
Is
ever
there
done.
not a band called the Hoosiers?
There is the Hoosiers,
The
yes.
Hoosiers.
Ah, this is not this.
Is that how you spell it?
Yep.
Apparently, they want to take me to church, so I immediately...
Yeah, it's that guy.
Oh, dang, he pretty.
He looks a little bit like...
That's probably a better picture of him.
Oh, he looks less like that person in that one. Ah, someone's photoshopped him to be bold.
Okay. I mean, he's got great hair.
Apart from when he hasn't.
Apart from when he gets it photoshopped off, but I don't think that's unique to him.
That might just be Google
That
being
might
weird.
just be Google being weird.
I have never ever listened to anything of theirs, so I cannot say anything.
Yeah.
No, same.
Good
I don't
hair.
even know what genre they play.
Well, he has a guitar, so it's probably like singer-songwriter. If
Possibly.
they're photographed excessively with an acoustic guitar, they're singer-songwriter.
I don't want to say you're wrong, but also kind of, yeah.
Okay, next one is a question we might answer a little bit better. Do you,
Yes.
/ how do you feel with feeling that you aren't good at being a fan of something?
Okay. There is no such thing as being a bad fan of something. Like,
If you like something, it doesn't matter how much you like it. If you like it, you're a fan. There you go.
yeah,
I get very aggressive and stubborn about this kind of like gatekeeping bullshit.
Yeah.
Especially like internalized gatekeeping is horrible.
Yeah, the only way I think it is conceivably possible to be a bad fan of something is to
If
be
you're a Rick and Morty fan. Okay, no. All
to-
joking aside, like that kind of Rick and Morty fan.
is to be a dickhead about the thing that you like, to gatekeep other people getting into it, or to belittle people for not liking it in the same way that you like it.
Yeah.
That sort of stuff, the gatekeeping aspect, is the only way you can really be a bad fan of something.
Yeah, if you just kind of go, oh, I like 40k, I don't care about the lore, I don't care about playing, but I like painting the models, you're still a fan. Or
Yeah.
if you just like, I like reading the books, you're still a fan. It doesn't, if you like something, you're a fan.
And that's okay.
And that's fine. And if anyone has a problem with that, they're being the dickhead.
Yeah, there should never be any gatekeeping nonsense about a thing. If you like a thing, you like a thing. You don't have to.
You don't have to prove that you like that thing.
You don't have to like it more than you do, just because you feel you have to.
Yeah.
And anyone that tries to make you feel like that is a dickhead, and you can tell them that
They are a dickhead.
these people from a podcast said that they're a dickhead.
Mm-hmm.
Them specifically, Stephen.
Yep.
Oh, fuck Steven.
Yeah.
That one terrible fan of
That
everything.
that terrible Star Wars fan, Stephen.
Oh, that does not narrow it down.
There are a lot of bad Star Wars fans here.
If you like porgs, you're not a real Star Wars fan. I
fucking-
will literally stuff your anus full of porgs.
I used to have a shelf of Star Wars memorabilia when I was a kid. I love Star Wars that much. And I fucking love porgs.
Porgs are amazing. And I bet they taste great.
Like,
as
I
well.
literally, if you're gonna get into the fucking hard gatekeeping bullshit, I literally had a Star Wars shrine, and I like porgs, so fuck off.
Porgs are great.
Lastly, and most importantly,
Oh.
do you appreciate bats?
I fucking love bats.
Bats are great.
Bats
Bats
are
are really
bats.
cute, and they're just crap. And they're adorable about it. And
Yeah.
weird looking, and like fruit bats, like flying foxes are really cute. And then there's the fucking Uggo ones that are just as cute, and they kind of just look like a pom-pom with a really fucked up face. They always look like they're going, "Nyeh." You like, go clean your shoes. He's like, I don't wanna. They're like that. They don't wanna, but it's like when kids are still young, so it's cute for them to be disobedient. You know, that kind of thing, where they're like, no, I don't want to. And you're like, okay, you know what? That's horrible.
Like, do you want to do this thing? No. Do you not want to do this thing? No.
Okay, then.
Okay.
Oh, parenting tip: always give kids a choice to trick them. So basically, like, now, little Billy, do you want 1 cup of carrots or 2? And then he'll go 1, and then he'll feel like he's got one over on you, and then eat his fucking carrots like you fucking should. Little oh my god, Billy, it's full of fiber. Eat the carrots. But yeah, no, bats are amazing.
Yes.
They're very cute and silly. And I want to pet one.
Oh,
Also, if you flip, like flying fox, like fruit bat pictures upside down, it looks like they're doing a weird jig when they're hanging upside down.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, they look like they're doing little jigs.
Yeah.
It's adorable.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Bats are good.
Bats are great.
Liliana,
Hello.
if Wib, in brackets, or I guess any of you,
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Someone's got a favourite.
had a spare 24 minutes and wanted to watch something outside, but was pressed right up against the box of old British sci-fi, they are recommending an Australian series called The Stranger.
It's where you lie on your hand, right?
Which ignoring that comment, which we watched a quick minute and a half trailer summary thing of before.
Yes, it does look very very interesting. Although it did lead me down to the thing of when it was when Matt first mentioned it to me, I was like, "Are you talking about that weird knockoff Doctor Who thing that they made with Colin Baker and Nicola Bryant, where it was all of the actors from Doctor Who pretending to be in Doctor Who but not calling it Doctor Who?"
Physician Hoomst.
He just didn't. He was just called The Stranger. I think he eventually did give him a name.
Did they know that they named him after a wank practice?
It was the early 90s, was Colin Baker.
It's like, have you heard of that sci-fi, The Danger Wank?
That's a sci-fi I want to see.
It's basically just Colin Baker furiously rubbing one out and shouting for his companions and trying to finish beforehand.
You know, if there was one doctor that is the most likely to have a danger wank, it's definitely the Colin Baker doctor. 100% he is the danger wank doctor.
The Danger Wank Doctor. And you said that I came up with a fucking...
But yes, I'll look at. I will watch an episode of that show because it does seem very. It looks like exactly the kind of weird old sci-fi that I enjoy watching. So
Yeah, it looks like exactly what you'd be into.
Yeah.
And only you.
And only me.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Wib loves The Stranger.
All right. Quick suggestion from Barbie Comedy.
Okay.
Book suggestion.
Oh.
It's a series called The Band by Nicholas Earns,
Okay.
which it's not a music-related band. There is
Is
music
it like
involved.
an elastic band?
No, it's like a band of people,
Oh,
but
like a
not of
group?
music. Yeah.
I would have called them a non-musical band.
Set in a fantasy world where bands will battle, which is, again, misleading.
Okay. This feels unnecessarily confusing.
Yeah.
If I open that and there's one mention of a guitar, I'm fucking coming for you.
Bands will battle with beasts for money and to audiences. Characters in the series are wonderfully diverse and well-rounded, with none of the toxic masculinity found in a lot of stories like that.
Oh shit, okay.
So-
That sounds rad.
So yeah, as much as I don't mean to belittle it, I just, when I was reading it, and then I saw the front cover, and I was like, why don't any of them have instruments? Like, oh, it's not oh, right, okay, cool, that makes more sense.
You have to understand we're musicians, therefore we are very silly and small-minded.
I mean, I would have just said that we are used to hearing the term bands and battle in a very specific context.
Yeah.
The context of going to a place and then finding out whoever's parents live nearby are the ones that are going to win.
Yeah, whoever's local wins because they bring the most people.
I mean, I should have noticed that it wasn't about musicians when it said it's set in a fantasy land where bands battle for A, money, and B, audience.
Yeah, actually.
So, I mean, it kind of says it right there.
There's 3 criteria for being in a band. 1, you have no money. 2, you have no audience. And 3, some of you have instruments? Maybe.
Generally. Statistically, most of you will have instruments.
Yeah, there's always one guy at the gig venue who just kind of stands in the corner nodding, and he's usually an older guy. The backbone of live music.
Yeah.
And then, they never really speak to you. But then the one time you stop playing a venue, they'll come up and go, "Where you go? I enjoyed you."
Yeah,
The one dude. There's always one old guy.
every gig venue has the weird
who's
old
there
guy.
at every gig, and never says anything to you until like the venue shuts down.
I personally really like the one that the maze in Nottingham had before it shut down, because the guy there he'd be going like he'd have a full on dance, like looking like a drunk old man, like while the band's
like dancing at a wedding.
Yeah, like old man dancing at a wedding, like going on thing, like really going for it. And then in between the bands, he'd just go and sit down peacefully in the corner and read his books.
Oh, that turtleneck guy! He was always in a turtleneck.
I don't remember the turtleneck.
Yeah, he looked like Steve Jobs, but wasn't a prick.
I think we're thinking of different people.
No, this guy, like literally, he'd be sat there reading a book, just like banging his head, like, yeah. It's like, how can you read Game of Thrones? Like, how can you read a Song of Ice and Fire while headbanging? Like, not very aggressively. He was kind of like nodding along, like, yeah, ska music, while reading, and it's like, great, this is awesome.
I think I noticed the dancing more than the turtleneck, so maybe we are speaking of the same person.
I noticed the turtleneck first, and I was like, you're at a ska punk gig. I mean, again, it's just not gatekeeping, it's just something you don't see very often. Yeah. So I was like, oh, so it kind of draws the eye. And then I saw him just sit down and read, and I'm like, oh, that's actually adorable.
All right, next up, Big Titty Goth Girl.
Hey.
Hello.
You see, you say Big Titty Goth Girlfriend, I say goals.
Snipe.
Yes. Oh, she's talking to me.
I'm about to start HRT.
Oh, cool, nice
and
one.
I'm worried about losing my muscle mass. Any tips on maintaining/gaining muscle?
Well, I have heard that with HRT, you will lose muscle mass, whatever you do. But I'd say just keep up training, realize that there will be a significant strength drop. You will probably you probably go down a couple of shoe sizes.
Yeah, I've heard that's quite common.
Yeah. There's a really cool lady on Twitter called Casey Explosion, and she went down like 2-3 shoe sizes when she started HRT.
Yeah.
Well, not when she started, like,
Yeah.
my feet! No, but like, it's like as it changes your body. But yeah, I'd say just keep on your regular routine. Don't push yourself if you can feel your muscles straining a bit. There's always that level where you kind of feel your body going, okay, this is not good. So don't go through that. Eat protein. Again, just eat lots of protein. Not too much, because, oh my god, the muscle pit is always the stinkiest thing, because those guys fart forever. Because all they do is consume protein, and protein farts are the worst.
Yep.
So just be aware that you will be a tooty booty if you eat a lot of protein. And yeah, just keep on it, I'd say. If you do lift and whatnot.
It's one of those things where...
It is unfortunately a thing that, people who don't have as much testosterone in their body, it is a lot harder to build muscle mass. I'm so envious of people with more testosterone because it's like I work twice as hard to get half the results, and it is really annoying, but I mean, I'm afraid I think you're just going to have to take the hit. I mean... But
I think with anything like HRT or any kind of change that your body's going through, it's going to adjust what your new normal is. So
it's just finding the new normal. And,
sometimes you're going to find yourself having more trouble with things. Sometimes something is going to be easier, and I think you just got to kind of take it one step at a time.
Yeah, I mean, you've just got to be reacquainted with how your body will be when you're on HRT.
But good luck, regardless.
But no, also good on you. Good on you.
Yeah, that's cool.
Good on you.
Wib.
Hello.
There's a theme of questions aimed at you.
Have
you heard of/watched an old Canadian sci-fi show called The Star Lost?
I have not, no.
The Star Lost?
The Star Lost. One word, Star Lost.
Okay. Star Lost.
It's about an Amish guy who finds out his community is one of many on board a colossal spaceship.
An Amish guy?
Yeah.
Oh, that must have pissed him off.
He was so mad.
It ran for...
He's so mad he built 3 barns.
It ran from 73 to 74 with 16 episodes and was created by none other than Cordwainer Bird, a.k.a. Harlan Ellison.
A notoriously easy person to work with.
Oh, thoroughly. Everyone loved the guy.
Yeah, it's all on YouTube if you're interested.
Okay.
Oh, cool. That's good.
Yeah, I think that sounds interesting, and he's dead set of an era of sci-fi that I find particularly fascinating. So yeah, I'll take a look at that. Thank you.
Last up is a final recommendation for, I'd say all of us, but realistically, I mean...
It's Whip.
No, it's me, Amweb.
Yeah.
Okay, it's
The train game recommendation.
Okay.
Train game.
You know what? I'm just gonna sit over here and like play a game on my phone or something. I'm gonna feed my Pikachu.
Alright, okay. So the game is called Rolling Line. It's an indie early access game in which you build your own model train layouts. So you start in an empty room and you end up with a hugely detailed scene, having placed every single table / rail line, building, bush, tree, traffic cone individually, slowly losing yourself in the endless futile quest for more detail.
Oh my god.
Not that they're speaking from any experience at all.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no, yeah.
No, that sounds fantastic.
I mean-
and, yeah.
This is why we need a secondary computer so I can get anything done while trains are happening, and I appreciate it's usually
There
if
is another-
I can get any sims done while you're doing actual
There's actually
work.
an interesting question there of, would it be cheaper to buy another complete computer
Ooh.
or to just buy a small train set?
A new computer.
Depends on how big the train set.
Humble.
I've been looking up some like
I
the
d-
small scale trains, like the T gauge stuff that's really tiny, like it's crazy small stuff, and you can pick up like a starter set of that for like 90 quid. So it's not too bad.
Oh, I usually only spend gargantuan amounts of money on little bits of plastic from Games Workshop though.
Yeah.
I don't think I could like split my
So if Games Workshop released model trains.
I honestly,
Then
we
we're
would
fucked.
starve. Wib would be like, he. Oh my god, he'd go full addict, and he'd be like, "What? I was like, Wib, where's the TV? Do you like my new like Primaris train?" Like, no, Wib, because you spent our rent money on it.
But no, I didn't. I sold the TV. I mean,
Ah, shit.
oh well.
Hoisted by my own petard.
Yeah.
Okay, next up, Henry.
Hello.
This is this is certainly a question. If GW suddenly revealed that they were going to start selling official Games Workshop brand corpse starch, and
Right.
further announced that their lawyers had somehow smoothed over all of the legal issues, and that their corpse starch would include actual human corpses, would you give it a try?
What, eat it? Yeah, probably. Can you imagine,
mean-
though, if you are actually painting with it and then you do the thing with the brush and put it in your mouth, you're like, oh,
I don't think one paints.
no, I ate like 3 grandmas.
I don't think someone paints with corpse starch. I strangely do not have much use in my daily life for corpse starch.
Is there context to this question? Am I missing
I'm
something?
glad there's not. More questions like this fucking weird shit, please.
You
know what?
This is either one of those things where it's like a specific reference to something we said like years ago and we've forgotten, or
Honestly-
it's like a TGS reference, and I'm just like,
I haven't seen the latest episode, but I want to. And also, corpse starch sounds like death metal ironing supplies. Is your collar not brutal enough? And then you've got to like, and it's made with real dead people. It's.
Well, I think seeing as how I have in the last few years cut down my consumption of meat greatly,
Yeah, but
that
would you-
using corpse starch is possibly going in the wrong direction. for
Interesting
me.
question though. If there was someone who was like, just fucking kill me, butcher me, and eat me, that's like my ultimate dream, would you eat them?
No.
Why not? It's a kink thing. Are you gonna kink shame this person?
I don't want to eat people.
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean,
but
as
they
a rule,
want you to eat them.
I don't want to eat them.
I can guarantee you, they'll take them out. They'll take themselves outside and shoot them, and it'll be very humane.
Okay, I appreciate that you're referencing the television adaptation of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. However,
However,
I do not wish to eat people.
would you put corpse starch in your tea?
I would not.
Why
no,
not?
in the same way that I wouldn't put like beef in my tea.
Yeah.
Well, people drink Bovril.
I know, but that's not tea. That's bovril.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's like
well,
gravy.
would you put it in your gravy then?
See, now that's a different question, but I mean,
Bit
still
of
no.
extra
Still no.
protein. No. Oh.
I feel like
If that was legitimately a thing, I would buy a pot and keep it on my shelf and just feel like some kind of old like witch.
I feel like you have to
having
keep it in the fridge.
corpse starch.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like dust, so
Yeah.
yeah. It's like, and it's like it's vacuum sealed.
Yeah. Okay.
So I pop
we're
it on,
making
like,
a lot of assumptions about this hypothetical product right now.
Well, yeah, and I'm interested because it's an interesting idea. So what I do is I just pop it on like my shelf and I just look at it and just feel really big dicked about how I've enslaved multiple dead people to just be on my shelf, and then I feel a bit bad about it because that's an actual like bunch of ground up dead people. But then I'd be like, haha, it's fine.
Well, okay then. What's the next question?
Final question.
Good.
Ooh.
From Jesse.
Hello, Jesse.
Wib,
Hello.
Oh, okay.
you mentioned playing Impossible Creatures.
Yes, I did. I did do that thing.
I really loved the hovercraft locomotive in it.
Yes, it's a very cool idea. Yeah.
If you were each
If you ate powdered bones...
my time.
We've eaten powdered bones loads. It's called jelly.
Yeah,
I mean, like, if you would eat corpse starch... I bet that'd be gritty as anything.
Yeah, probably.
If you were each to design a combination of different machines for an Impossible Machines or Gaslands kind of scenario, e.g. Henry Hoover / helicopter, what would
I'd
it be?
helicopter for Henry all day.
Yeah. What would it be and why?
Gun guitar. Don't like my performance? I'll just fire into the air.
Isn't there
Destroy the
literally
lighting.
like a movie where someone has a gun guitar?
Yeah. Oh,
Like it's
fuck.
an old like Western movie. I can't remember what it's called because I personally
calculator that
cannot
stabs
stand
you.
Western movies. So
What? Calculator that stabs you. Like, learn through pain. It's, you know how the kind of like the anxiety kind
I think
of like...
we're looking more here at vehicles.
Oh, okay.
A calculator that stabs you with wheels.
Yeah. Thank you. See, Drama Matt gets it. The engineer here gets it. He can see a good idea.
I don't have a better answer than when we last played Gaslands and Ruth
had
designed
dinosaur cars.
dinosaur cars. So she had Triceratops
Yeah.
and she had... Ooh, what was the other one? It was good.
Terracopter or something.
Oh yeah, it was a...
Yeah. Oh, God.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
But yeah, they were dinosaur themed
They were amazing.
and they were cars and or helicopters and
I bet you're glad you married her.
they were the best. So I can't think of a better answer than that, even though I can't remember them.
I'm going to go for the nostalgia thing. A
Yeah.
very personal nostalgia. Now, does anyone remember the toys called Connectables?
No.
Ooh.
They were made by Matchbox, I believe, and they were little cars and things that you could like snap in half.
Yes, and they had the like jigsaw piece type shape things that you could then mix and match.
So you could clip them together with other things, and so you could make stupidly long vehicles.
The best ones
using
were the
it.
limos because they had a middle section to add an extension.
Yeah, so you
Yeah.
could put other things
Yeah.
inside and make, and they had these. They had like connectors, so you could like make them into this big branching monstrosity.
Okay.
However, when I was a kid, I had like my favoured combinations, and one of those combinations was the front of a Volkswagen Beetle and the back of like the tank tread segment of like an armoured personnel carrier.
Okay.
And I just always thought it was really cool.
That's fucking whatever its name is, the hate bug. Like Horus the hate bug.
Oh yeah, from the
Yeah, that's that.
Yeah, I always thought it was cool. So yeah, a Volkswagen Beetle cross tank.
I'm gonna say I want a motorbike that has an ice cream maker on it.
I think they exist. They're just like those little, like when people have a little bike that has a like stall on the back to sell things at like beaches and things.
I want a motorbike that has an ATM on it, so I can just park deadly still, and people be like, "Ooh, an ATM," and come and put the card in, and I'll just drive off cackling. And
You are
like,
aware of-
Shit,
you
my
are
family
aware
will
of-
starve. It'll be so funny.
You are aware of how heavy ATMs are.
Yeah.
I presume
Okay.
this isn't going to be an actual real ATM because otherwise
Yeah,
you'd have to
no,
have
obviously.
cash in it and then you'd have the cash.
Yeah,
You wouldn't need
I
their
do
card.
have the cash, so, you know, and it is connected by Wi-Fi. I don't know why I'd set that up, but it just feels like it should be like that, you know.
Okay.
And then I
Okay.
put a fake front on it, and I'm
Yeah.
like, hee hee, and I scan
At a
a
certain
card.
point, you're just making a bank.
I mean,
I mean, I'm gonna basically take that and just give it to like the poor. So I'm gonna be Robin
So you're going to do
Hood.
the exact opposite of a bank.
Yeah, like, you know, make the world better.
Yeah.
And also, I might take a bit out every now and again to pay for petrol, because, you know.
It will cost a lot lugging a bank around.
Yeah.
an entire bank.
I
on the
would
back.
literally disguise myself as a bank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, with like mannequins pretending to be like...
They're all operated by like strings, and you're
Yeah,
you're
I'm
like
just
at
like
the
moving
center.
around.
You're like fucking.
Pay no attention to the woman behind the curtain.
You're like Tom Green in Freddy Got Fingered when he's got all the sausages hanging.
Yeah, I'm doing that, but it's with sausages wearing suits with smiley faces on. It's like, hello, madam, how may I help you today? Give me money, please.
That
They'll be
was
like,
the last question, wasn't it?
Well, it was the first part of the last question.
Okay,
I feel like
good.
we veered off onto a dangerous...
What? No, I
don't
was
even
asked
know
a
what.
question, I gave a good answer. Sorry for being thorough. Motherfuckers!
On my journeys to play at GW, I often get paranoid that someone is going to spot my Citadel Miniatures case and yell, "Nerd!" at me. Is this something you ever worry about, or am I just being overly self-conscious?
Honestly, as someone who isn't a guy who goes walking on my own, that is the least of my concerns. I usually get some real vulgar shit chucked at me, which I will say the best response is, "Pull over, big boy, I'm ovulating." Yeah, they don't know what to say to that.
I mean, they wouldn't.
Because they're like...
I don't know anyone under any circumstances really has an answer to that.
No.
But yeah, no.
I don't really have a...
I mean, I don't think nerd is an insult. I use it as a term of endearment.
Yeah, I don't really have that fear, but that's possibly because I'm 33 years old and stopped caring what other people think a long time ago. Not
that caring what people think makes you an idiot or anything. It's just once you get old enough, you just don't care about anything.
It's not like a judgment call, because I used to care immensely when I was younger.
I remembered something really silly the other day. That I was terrified of walking too fast because I didn't want to look too feminine. What the fuck does that even mean? I was like 15. Give me a break.
Yeah. But yeah, like you have, as you grow up, you tend to lose a lot of those kind of hang-ups.
Yeah.
I personally found anyway.
And honestly, if anyone does shout nerd at you, you could just be like, "Pull over, big boy, I'm ovulating."
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's one of those things where, like, you're doing something that you enjoy, and if, like, thinking about it, like, it's the brain's way where it just thinks of these ways to somehow take the fun out of a thing that you're enjoying.
Yeah.
And you just and it's difficult, but trying to get control of that part of your brain, because it's just being a dick to you and just trying to make you not enjoy something. So basically, tell your brain to fuck off, and if anyone says nerd to you, tell them to fuck off as well.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Or just shout, have you gotten your dick sucked by a nerd?
Failing that, if you want to... I'm just brushing that over. If you really want to feel safe and secure while you're out and about...
Carry knives.
Carry...
Fight the police.
I was going to say, carry a 2nd edition metal dreadnought.
Dread sock the fucker.
Put it in a sock, and then you've got a fucking dangerous weapon at all times. Swing that sock around, you'll fucking knock someone out. Possibly kill them. Don't take our advice. The MisanthroPod does not condone murdering people.
I want to put out the fact that I recommend not carrying weapons of any kind as a general rule, because the more weapons we have, the more bad things happen.
Well,
so
I mean, I have like
just to throw that out there.
I have like a really small like pair of pliers and a really tiny knife on my keyring.
That's like a tool.
That's a tool in case I need to stab somebody or ply their tits off.
I mean, I don't as much as...
I carry it because I'm a bassist. And I might need to...
for all that knife base you're doing.
I'm a knife bassist.
Anyway, very last question.
Okay.
Who are your favourite drag queens on RuPaul's Drag Race?
Ooh,
and what did you think of the British series?
I have not seen the British one. I personally... Katya was great. I love with Katya and Trixie. They're amazing. I really like Juju.
That's the name of a show, by the way, that noise she just made.
It's the name of their show. It's like they've got it's like they just sit there and basically talk how I do for 10 minutes.
Right.
Yeah. I really like Jujubee. She was great. I thought Peppermint was amazing. She was so cool. Trying to think. Also, I know Zoe, like from Fighting Evil, is cool. She loves Bag of Chips, which is the best. She's a drag queen from the British, obviously. Bag of Chips.
I know. I really want to see the Brit. I've still not got around to seeing any of it, but I really want to see the British one because there's a really interesting history of like drag in the UK, and it's very different to the States. It's like a lot of like working class people were into it for quite a long time, a lot longer I think than it's sort of slightly more acceptable in the States.
Yeah.
Which makes it a very different
drag
thing.
is a very interesting thing.
But I really want to watch.
Yeah, no. Definitely. I do want to watch, so yeah. And also I really like Brooklyn Heights and Miss Vanjie. I shipped them so hard, and it was quite sad to see them, like, you know, not be able to date anymore because it was just not feasible, which was sad. But yeah, good question. But yeah, we should probably go now because Drama Matt has like half an hour to get home.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Well, thank you very much for all your lovely questions. Don't forget to send more in. Title line Wib is wrong.
I won't read the title, it's fine.
I won't. No, but I'll know it's there. Thank you, everybody, and we hope you have a good one. Bye bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.